Hey, this is Neil's on Dynasty. Please like, share, and subscribe. Buy some silver, some platinum, and some crystallized osmium. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. Don't listen to me. Just talking crap here. Everything that I say is to be taken as bullshit. Okay, now I got all the disclaimers out of the way. I actually don't give any financial or any advice other than good advice. So, yeah, bored right now. Figured I'd go live, see if anybody else was bored. I'm going to show probably a video or two. I'm looking them up right now. See what we got going here. I don't anticipate anyone showing up, but that's cool. Hopefully no one does. That means y'all have decent lives. But if not, just hold on a second. I'll get some videos ready here. Let's see. Oh, here's some, let's see. Let's go with this one here. I'm going to get you a video here by Sal Macagliano. What's going on with shipping? Because nobody really knows. But it's okay. Hey, what's up, C4? I didn't think anyone would be here. I'm just talking shit right now. Fixing to share a screen. Let's see what the deal is on the United States building 12 new battleships. Battleships? We haven't built battleships in a long ass time. Let's see what Sal Macagliano, what's going on with shipping, has to say.
On Phelan about Navy shipbuilding. Now, you may remember
a
previous episode of What's Going On with Shipping, where Secretary Phelan made an announcement about shipbuilding. It didn't go very well. Oh.
This is kind of funny. I'm also high, Rugger.
May need to keep this close by. So that was me listening to Secretary Phelan announce the cancellation of the Constellation class frigate. It was not a good video. I kind of spiraled out of control in that video, and yes, there was some drinking involved in it. However, we now have this announcement by the President of the United States. We're going to go and listen to the President announce it, but we're going to watch not just the President.
Hold on, before we go any further, I've said now for 6 to 9 months that America's shipbuilding is coming back to get your TWIC card, get ready for all kinds of work coming in the shipbuilding industry, blah, blah, blah. Now let's get back with the story. How did I know Trump in America was going to do this? I just don't know.
President announced it, but a big fan of the president, and more importantly, of battleships in general, watch this video.
As Commander-in-Chief, it's my great honor to announce that I have approved a plan for the Navy to begin the construction of 2 brand new, very large, the largest we've ever built, battleships. You know, you used to build.
This is a grown man right here getting very excited about the fact that President Trump has announced that we're building battleships. For those of you who don't know, that is John Conrad, the CEO of GCaptain, the most popular online news site for maritime shipping in the world, and a good friend of the show. So I found it very amusing to watch John get this excited about the announcement of the battleship. Now, I will note that not everybody feels this amount of excitement regarding this. And what I want to talk about today is try to, as much as we can, remove Trump from this equation for a moment, because I understand this is a very polarizing issue, and anything involving the president tends to create a lot of derangement syndrome with him. I understand that. The U.S. Navy was talking about at the turn of the century building a new fleet of vessels. This was going to replace what was then the aging out Cold War fleet. We had Spruance-class destroyers, we had Perry and Knox-class frigates, we had the Ticonderoga-class guided missile cruisers, and we were just introducing at the time the Arleigh Burke-class destroyers. So the concept was to build an entire new family of ships that was going to come out. Unfortunately, what we got was a mixed bag. We got littoral combat ships, which really don't fill the job of a frigate. We only got 3 out of the 32 planned Zumwalt class destroyers, and even then they were not full Zumwalts because the 2 forward guns on them, the 155 millimeters, basically had no ammunition. So we got a basically a gunless destroyer. Now what we're talking about is building a new large surface combatant, which the president is calling a battleship. We're going to break this down and try as objectively as possible to talk about what the hell this means. If you're new to the channel, hey, take a moment, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so be alerted about new videos as they come out. So every year, Raytheon does this great poster that shows the ships and submarines of the U.S. Navy. It's a good little snapshot here that gives you the imagery of vessels. So up in the upper left there, you got the aircraft carriers. Then you have the surface combatants, and that's the lower left column there. And in the middle, you have submarines. You have some auxiliary vessels. They don't include all the auxiliary vessels. They leave out military Sea Lift Command vessels. And then on the right column there, you have all the amphibious vessels, including minesweepers. And they do include 2 other vessels that are on the official Navy vessel register. One of them in the dead center there in the middle on the bottom is USS Pueblo, still on the roster, even though it is located in Pyongyang, North Korea. And then, of course, the USS Constitution, the only active frigate in the U.S. Navy, and maybe the only frigate we get for a long time. We're going to come back to that. But it's in that left column that you see the surface combatants there. And the biggest thing that comes to bear on the surface combatants is this. Arleigh Burke destroyers, going back to USS Arleigh Burke, DDG 51, built back in 1991, is the bedrock class of surface combatants in the U.S. Navy. We're up to our Flight 3 class of Arleigh Burkes. The cruisers, the Ticonderoga class cruisers, are going out for good reason. Read the USS Gettysburg report on its deployment over into the Red Sea, and there's a good reason to start getting rid of the cruisers. We only have 3 cruisers. They're not destroyers, but they're undergoing this big, huge modification to give them hypersonic weapons. And then we have the littoral combat ships, which are a problem all unto themselves.
We are going to be building so many ships in America. If you have any skill, vocational skill whatsoever, plumbing, pipe fitting, electrical, welding, labor, painter, electrician, you'll have a career of good money coming if you get into shipbuilding.
And one of the things that the U.S. is trying to address is 2 things here. Number one is build a small frigate type vessel, and then now to build the upper end vessel, a cruiser, or as the president calls it, a battleship. So the video I showed you in the beginning was after the announcement of this, the cancellation of the Constellation class frigate. Now, they haven't fully canceled it. The first 2 vessels, FFG 62 and 63, are going to be built up in Fincantieri in Wisconsin. Now, this ship was built to a foreign Italian design, what was called a Frem frigate.
Did you just say they're going to be built in Wisconsin? See, ports and infrastructure for ports are all throughout America. People in Wisconsin are going to be shipbuilders big time. So you don't have to be along the coasts of America to be into shipbuilding and getting into that industry.
And the idea was we're going to take a frigate off the shelf that was already being built. We took this design and we were going to slap American weaponry on it, change some things out, and be able to produce this very quickly. That was not the case. And I'm going to have links to stories from the War Zone and USNI on each of these so that you can read them and for yourself understand what's happening. But basically, the frigate design is not going to work. And I doubt we're even going to probably build these 2 frigates. No clear idea if these ships are going to get built. Then you have the announcement of this. This is the LST 100 built by Damen. Damen is a Dutch shipbuilder. The United States is going to basically take this design and build it in the United States to satisfy the U.S. Marine Corps requirement for a landing ship medium. This is a type of vessel that will operate in and around the Western Pacific along the First Island chain and support specifically the Marine littoral regiments. Now, you can sit there and say, like, hang on a second, Sal, they're building a foreign design. Isn't this going to run into the same problems that Constellation ran into, being a foreign design? Yes, yes, you're right. However, there are some provisions in this. Number one, they're going with a vessel manager contract so that these ships are going to be built not so much to Navy specifications as commercial specifications. And the idea being here that they're not going to alter this design fundamentally. they're still going to run afoul of some issues with Build America, which is going to require them to flip out a lot of the major components in these vessels if they're going to build them in the United States. I envision that
they are going to be built in the United States. About 30 or 40 of these alone. That right there says UNC on it, UMC, United States Marine Corps. That's about 25 foot long. So this is about 250 foot long vessel, probably 40 to 50 foot wide, 2 to 3 stories high. Just one of hundreds of vessels that are going to be built in America.
These are the ships that are going to go up to Fincantieri up in Wisconsin to replace the Constellation class frigates.
Again, he mentions the building of ships in Wisconsin, central part of America. There's boat building going on in a lot of states that you wouldn't think there would be. So the opportunity for getting a job, if you get the TWIC card and some vocational skills, is awesome for you in the future.
Then you have the announcement, which I didn't do a video on because I was kind of waiting for this announcement on the large surface combatant. This is the announcement that the new frigate is going to be a modification of what is the national security cutter. So the U.S. Coast Guard built 10 large national security cutters down at Huntington Ingalls in Pascagoula. These ships are basically frigate size. There's, as a matter of fact, a competition to use these vessels as frigates. And I was a big proponent of this because this was an American-built vessel. You wouldn't have to go through the changes with the FREM that we ran into. Now, these ships do have some shortfalls. One of the biggest ones, as noted in an article recently, is that the first batch of these vessels will not have VLS, vertical launch cells, put on them. There's also going to be issues about the full sensor suite regarding anti-submarine. The big thing here is, again, trying to get a small surface combatant out in there. One of the things that's not talked about at all, and really needs to be talked about both for the small surface combatant and the large surface combatant, is this. We have a finite amount of auxiliary vessels, particularly refueling vessels. If you look at the operation down in the Caribbean right now, I've been watching USS Kanawha, which is an oiler that is supporting the operations down in the Caribbean. That ship is running in and out of Ponce. This is a port in the south of Puerto Rico about every week or two. It is basically running its ass off to support the naval forces down in the Caribbean. And the reason it's doing that is because Arleigh Burke class destroyers are gas turbines vessels and they burn a shitload of fuel. Sorry, I don't know how to say this any other polite way. And you need basically a trail of replenishment vessels to keep these ships at sea. One of the things you want with a frigate is to be able to escort commercial vessels and also have endurance. The thing with a national security cutter is they're a combination diesel and gas turbine. This allows them to cruise for long periods of time on their diesel engines. They can use the gas turbine for sprint speed to get themselves up to speed faster. This is kind of what you want. This is the problem we have with the Arleigh Burkes. The Burke, for example, can barely cross the Atlantic on a tank of fuel. It can't cross the Pacific. The LCSs are even worse. You got to sail them really, really slow to be able to get them anywhere. So this is one of the key components you want. And one of the things that I talked about with the FREM frigates was we should have built them to the original design, start building them, and then build a Flight 2 where we modify them and change them over to US specs. I would envision kind of the same thing. HII has plans for different variations of this national security cutter that can be modified. And one of the most important things is to start building them. They were supposed to build an 11th national security cutter. That got canceled. So the facilities to build these vessels, we don't know the exact status of them down at HII, but hopefully they'll be able to do it. They're still building the last of the national security cutters at this time. Then we recently had the announcement for this, DDG-X. So DDG is Guided Missile Destroyer. X is the new variation. This is the replacement for the Arleigh Burke. This was announced earlier this year. And one of the problems we have in the Arleigh Burke is we have reached the limit of that frame and that hull. You can't put anything more into it. If you look at images of the Arleigh Burke right now, they're getting to be ridiculous. I give you the muffin top Arleigh Burke. This has got a slick 32, so this is a modification to the Burkes to put more electronic warfare in it. And you notice these big kind of bulges out here. They call it muffin top. It's kind of like big bulging cheeks It is fine for the stability of the vessel. It just doesn't look very good. But it goes back to the issue of the fact that the ship has reached the limit of its modification capability. And so the new DDG-X will kind of spill that out. This is going to be the new derivation of a destroyer. Hopefully we're not going to get a Flight 4. Arleigh Burke will get this new class. And so that goes in line with what the president in his announcement was. We're going to build these new battleships. Now, let's talk a little bit about the term battleship, because that's got everyone going crazy. We're not building Iowa-class battleships. We're not hauling the Iowa, New Jersey, Wisconsin, and Missouri out of mothballs and reactivating them. So the guys on the museum ships can calm down and everything. That's not going to happen. So we got imagery of what's going to become the Trump-class USS Defiant. Now, can't be clear. The name is driving people crazy on both sides. I got to say this. Number one, the Trump class. Okay, that's gonna, again, we're in this big issue right now regarding Navy naming conventions. Battleships traditionally have been named after states. Every battleship in the history of the United States has been named after a state, except for one, USS Kearsarge, BB-5. All others were named for states. The problem is you can't really do that now because we've named submarines after states. The name of this one is USS Defiant, which comes from my favorite Star Trek of all times, Deep Space Nine. I mean, love the Defiant. Although the Defiant wasn't a battleship, it was an escort vessel, heavily gunned, overpowered, a lot of issues with the USS Defiant. I digress. This Defiant is as called a battleship. Now, it doesn't meet all the criteria of a battleship. Heavy guns, main armament of 12, 14, 16-inch guns. We don't think it has a belt of armor on the side. However, the term battleship has changed over time. I talked about building frigates. Well, we're not building Constitution-class frigates like they were built in 1794 by Joshua Humphreys, although we are naming them after the 6 first frigates, Constellation and Congress and President. Those were the names of some of the very first frigates right there. But, a frigate from 1794 is not the same as a frigate in 2025, and neither should we think battleships are. If you look at the evolution of battleships in the U.S. Navy, USS Maine, USS Texas, USS Indiana, these are not what we would consider battleships even in World War I, with the introduction of HMS Dreadnought in 1906. In the case of the United States, it's the introduction of South Carolina and Michigan in 1910. Or the 12 standard class battleships the U.S. Navy will build prior to World War II. And it certainly doesn't meet the criteria of the super dreadnoughts that the U.S. will build before World War II, with the 2 North Carolina class battleships, the 4 South Dakotas, and the 4 Iowas, which were supposed to be 6, and then in the subsequent follow-on 5 Montana class. What the president is talking about is not so much building a traditional battleship. I would argue there were some terms thrown around, which were really interesting conversation about, are we talking about a pocket battleship? So the concept of a pocket battleship was derived by the Germans during the interwar years when they were limited on the size of the ships they can build. So they built the Graf Spee, the Admiral Scheer, the Deutschland, and these were heavily armed ships, but lightly armored, but very fast. And so they were termed pocket battleships. They were more appropriately retermed cruisers during World War II. The U.S. built something akin to that, not exactly, but during World War II, the U.S. built the Alaska class, which are large cruisers. Some will call these battle cruisers. They're not battle cruisers. And we only finished 2 of them, the Alaska, and then this vessel is the Guam right here. Fitted with 12-inch guns, a whole slew of 5-inch 38s, a lot of anti-aircraft weaponry. They were very lightly armored, but heavily armed. And so they had a big punching power. And the large cruisers were a really interesting design that was built by the U.S. It's created a huge stir. I would argue what President Trump announced yesterday was not so much a battleship or battle cruiser, but basically a derivation of a large cruiser. Now, what makes it different in particularly than a cruiser is its size. The tonnage he's talking about is akin to a large cruiser battleship size. So the U.S. Navy has put out a goldenfleet.com site where you can go and pull information from about this, and I pulled a batch of this from there. So here's the vessel in question, USS Defiant. Now, a couple of things kind of stand out on this ship right off the bat, and we're going to look at a much more detailed version here, but you can see obviously a batch of weapons on board, guns up forward and along the side of the vessel, and a plethora of missile launching capability on board the ship. So here is a better breakdown of this. So up forward, looking at the bow, you see here 132 megajoule railgun. Now, railguns have gotten a lot of attention. The U.S. Navy developed railguns and then put it aside. They could not get a good result. One of the problems you had in a railgun is it burns through the barrels. And burning through a barrel is a common problem even with major guns. So, for example, the Iowa-class battleships could get roughly a little over 300 rounds out of a gun barrel before you had to replace the interior lining of the barrel. Basically, the lining burnt out, and you wouldn't get the spin, the grooves on it. So that creates a problem. This railgun is being developed right now by the Japanese. So the U.S. is talking about working with other nations, and the Japanese are in the process of developing a railgun. Should you be able to get 200 rounds out of a railgun before you need to replace it? Is that going to be enough? I don't know. It depends on what the railgun is needed for. If you're using it for shore bombardment, if you're using it for anti-ship capabilities, then that railgun may be sufficient. Plus, you can upgrade the railgun as capabilities come. One of the things that this ship allows you to do is have capability to update and change it. It's one of the reasons you want to build a large platform, because when you're on a small platform, you basically max out the size of the vessel. The problem with Constellation, for example, was when it was initially designed, there was only about 350 tons of excess space on board a 7,000-ton vessel. Well, when they finished the design, the ship was 1,000 tons overweight. So that's one of the big problems. You'll see they'll carry conventional prompt strike missiles, CPS. These are the big hypersonic missiles. These are those big missiles that we see being fitted right now on the Zumwalt class. You see two Mark 45 5-inch 62 caliber guns. These are the same type guns that are fitted on the Arleigh Burke. Everybody is screaming about, let's bring back the 8-inch gun that the U.S. Navy designed in the 1980s. And we actually fielded one of those 8-inch guns on board a destroyer, the USS Hull. That gun was destroyed. Everything with it was destroyed. The U.S. Navy got rid of that program. It's gone. It doesn't exist. So the idea of bringing it back is really a non-starter. You would have to redesign the whole thing over again. One of the things I think the Navy needs to be talking with the U.S. Army is their 155 millimeter gun. I talked about a 155 on board the Zumwalts. Well, the Army developed a 155 gun too. The problem was the Navy version and the Army version were not compatible. Maybe we should be talking about that, especially if we're talking about shore bombardment roles. You'll see right here, vertical launch cells. So 128 Mark 41 VLS cells. Really key here. You want your vertical launch cells. One of the problems you have is Arleigh Burkes can carry about 90. The Ticonderogas can carry about 128. You want these more cells on board. So you'll have it. You'll have the Spy-6 radar, very, very kind of standard we see right now being fitted on board the Arleigh Burkes. You'll be able to put a full embarked commander. This will be the centerpiece of a strike group on board. Secretary of the Navy Phelan talked about the fact that Admiral Halsey and Admiral Spruance, commanded their fleets from battleships. Halsey did. Spruance did not. Spruance commanded from the USS Indianapolis. He wanted to be on a heavy cruiser. He didn't want to be on a battleship. There's a whole reason behind that. You'll see on here two 300 kilowatt lasers. So one of the big things about lasers is we have lasers fitted to vessels today. The problem is to power the lasers on most ships today, you got to turn everything off, including.
Unless you have, here comes the kicker, people. Neil's talked about this before. I've pushed it. Micro nuclear reactor running the new battleships. Let's see if he agrees.
Power, propulsion, everything's got to be fed into the laser. What you need is a propulsion system on board this that can generate a ton of kilowatts that can power that. They talk about gas turbine and diesel powered. So to me, this is the most interesting aspect about this. Gas turbine, diesel powered. Diesel is good, like we talked about with the frigate. That gives you long range. Diesel power is very efficient in terms of fuel consumption. Gas turbines is not. So you'll get the speed out of this, but you can also have the cruising element. One of the things that I think needs to be talked about in this, not in the first ones, but potentially forward on, is nuclear power. We don't like to talk about nuclear power on surface vessels. We used to have nuclear powered cruisers to escort the nuclear powered aircraft carriers. Those are key, because if you've got to deploy the Nimitz class carriers or the Ford class carriers from the East Coast of the United States to the Pacific, your limitation is not the carrier, it's the escorts. You've got to be trailing a oiler behind you to fuel the Burke class destroyers, because the Nimitz.
And that is why China will never be a naval superpower. Their newest aircraft carrier that they just launched earlier this year, not only is it already back in dry dock because it didn't fare well in the open seas, it has to have a fuel ship following it, because it only has a 600 nautical mile range. It can't even get to Hawaii without being refueled. A ship that has to be refueled is a floating duck, because if you hit the refueling ship and take out the fuel, then that ship has no way to power. It's just it's nothing. It's a waste of money. So that's why China is going to be nothing. They don't have nuclear powered ships. We have nuclear powered submarines and ships. Our newest aircraft carriers are going to be micro nuclear powered, just like our ones that we have now and our submarines that we have now. They're going to transfer over to ships now that this new age of power generation is coming, which I've been pushing for micro and small modular reactors. So I'm glad he's talking about this.
And the Fords can put the hammers down and just burn neutrons. They're off and running. They have no problem doing it, but the escorts don't. And then you see back here more 30 millimeter guns, counter weaponry on board, and then a flight deck and hangar for both helicopters and V-22s. So this vessel is much larger than what we see. It is a all-purpose large strike craft. And when you get into the specifications, you can see what we mean here. 840 to 880 feet. That is a big craft. That really limits its capabilities where you can build this. There is a grand total of 3 shipyards based on that size where this can be built in the United States. Philadelphia Navy Shipyard, Huntington Ingalls in Newport News, and Huntington Ingalls down in Pascagoula. Now, there are other dry docks that can fit those up in the Brooklyn Navy Yard, but the Brooklyn Navy Yard's closed. And the North.
Funny thing, deja vu, the United States Navy has one wooden Constellation class ship, or it's not a Constellation, it's a frigate class wooden hulled sailing vessel, and it's called the Constitution, and it's I think it's kept up in Annapolis, and it's manned by the students at Annapolis and other crew members. But it is a sail-powered wooden vessel that our U.S. taxpayers, for all kinds of historical reasons and other reasons, keep it in the naval fleet, active fleet.
Norfolk Navy Yard, which doesn't build ships anymore, it repairs them. But if you're using those specifications, those are your 3 yards basically you have where you can build them. Now you can also build them somewhere else. That's called
us building new shipyards and infrastructure for our existing ports and infrastructure that's happening. Why I tell everyone to get vocational skills up for some sort of a vocational skill for shipbuilding. Because right now he said that we only have 3 ports that you can repair these ships and none to really build them. That's going to change as well.
Japan and Korea, but I very much doubt that's going to happen. You look at the size beam, 105 to 115 feet. So interesting thing about this, why are we confining vessels to the width of the old Panama Canal? The new Panama Canal can take ships much larger. Why are we not building larger than that? We can go wider. We don't have to limit ourselves to this anymore. We can definitely go much bigger. Here you see displacement over 35,000 tons. That is substantial. That is big. This is a big ship. The North Carolina, South Dakota class battleships, the 6 of them that were built were between 35 and 45,000 tons. So that's what you get. The crew size, substantially smaller than what you would see on a battleship. 650 to 850, not really clear how that would go. And then President Trump talked about it last night, authorizing 2 ships, eventually going to 10, with plans to build anywhere from 20 to 25 ships. And then you see its mission as power projection, offensive strike, and integrated air defense. We kind of went over the weapons already. So this is a large, massive surface combatant. And many people are going to make the argument that this is, something we don't need. We don't need a large surface combatant because in this age of drones and, ballistic missiles, all you're creating is a target. And I would argue this is only one component of a larger fleet. And this is a criticism I have of the announcement yesterday. I would have liked to have seen a discussion about the entire plan for whatever this fleet's going to be. So we've got the small surface combatant. We've got the DDG-X, which is going to be the replacement for the Arleigh Burke. And now we have the large surface combatant. What we're missing from here is some other key elements, in particularly two that I think need to be discussed. What is the role of unmanned, uncrewed surface vessels? That is key because one of the things unmanned, uncrewed allow you to do is surround these surface vessels with more vessels, more types of craft that can serve as additional missile batteries, sensors, you name it. You can basically surround yourself with these kind of loyal kayaks around you, and you magnify your presence across the ocean. I think it's very important to talk about them. It gives you a lot of targets out there. Plus, if you put sensor deception on there, you can cast the shadows so that they look like big vessels. There's a lot you can definitely do with those. The other element you have too is drone craft. What are we going to do with drone craft? I think right now drones in the U.S. Navy in particularly are akin to aircraft post World War I. And what we need built is a USS Langley. We need a converted vessel that will be a drone carrier for the United States. But I think the Navy is fighting this quite a bit, especially the aviation guys and the submarine guys. They don't like this. But one of the things I think we need to do is take in hand an auxiliary, a commercial ship, much like we did with the USS Jupiter, and convert her into USS Langley. Really recommend a good friend of the show, Dave Winkler, his book on USS Langley. One of the things I think we need to do is doing that. We need to have that element where we can operate drones off these vessels. We're seeing the capability of drones right now in the Black Sea. We've seen them used in the Red Sea. We've seen them used around. The U.S. Navy should be doing it. The problem is there's really no coherent strategy right now for the use of drones by the U.S. Navy. It's really being done independently by all these different fleets around there. Now, I understand everybody view on President Trump. I got that. I got that 100%. And people will get absolutely opposite of whatever political party is in. If you're in favor of President Biden, or against President Biden, you have that 180 view. Same thing with Trump. We have polarized ourselves when it comes to politics. However, the surface combatant that President Trump and Secretary Hegseth and Secretary Phelan talked about yesterday is the next evolution here. France just announced they're building a nuclear aircraft carrier akin to the Ford class. China is building a nuclear aircraft carrier akin to the Ford class. Don't get confused by what Ukraine is doing against the Russian military in the Black Sea, because, again, the Russian Black Sea fleet is not comparable to the U.S. Navy or the Chinese Navy in its capabilities. Large surface combatants are a key feature, but you need it as part of a balanced fleet. And that is a key element right here. When we come back over here to this fleet and take a look at it, you see aircraft carriers, you see surface combatants, you got submarines, you've got amphibious vessels. This is a balanced fleet. What's missing from here, by the way, is the auxiliary fleet. Very happy that Secretary Phelan talked about sea lift recapitalization. Really updating the auxiliary fleet needs to be done. It's a key thing I've talked about a lot on this channel. But what you need is a balanced fleet. One of the things that cruisers, for example, which I think this vessel falls into the category of much more than a quote unquote battleship, but battleships sound cool, is that it gives you longer range, longer endurance, longer times on station than what you get right now with the Arleigh Burkes. One of the things that we saw happen with the Arleigh Burkes down in the Red Sea is that they had to basically, after engagements, is withdraw to go reload. This vessel gives you a deeper magazine. It gives you more capability. And if you surround them with these autonomous vessels that are, fitted with missile capabilities in, modules or containers, then you have a greater ability to control and stay out on station longer. Plus, a large surface combatant, kind of like the battleships that were repurposed in the 1980s, the Iowa, the New Jersey, the Missouri, and the Wisconsin, they had the capability to refuel ships at sea, much like the carriers do. So you don't need all the time having an oiler with you. You can use your large combatants to keep your smaller combatants out at sea. This is a key thing. Again, was not very well articulated yesterday, and I think it needs to be done. I mean, I had a lot of problems with what was said yesterday in terms of just some facts. We have more than 30 submarines. That's true. Should know that. But one of the things I think is what is that overall plan regarding the development of the U.S. Navy?
Hold on, I gotta go back here. Right here where my cursor is, that is the USS. I think it's the Constitution. That is the one wooden naval vessel I was telling you about, Deja Vu. It is actually listed right on the bottom right hand of this piece of paper that's up here. It's got sails on it and everything. That is the one and only wooden hulled ship sailboat that the U.S. Navy has. But anyhow, that was enough of this sucker. We got some good conversation out of him. JM, you still out there? You want to hop up here on stage? Battleship is a game. Yeah, and we're going to have 12 of them, so we're going to win the game. Ain't that a great thing? Oh, no, wait. Hold on, wait. I forgot. People think we're going to collapse as a superpower. I forgot about that. Yeah, no. We're going to collapse as a superpower with the largest Navy and the largest Air Force on the planet. Oh, no. People. Some of these guys I hear online, it just drives me crazy. Oh, by the way, if people think America's going to crash, our GDP will be at about probably 4.8, 4.9 for December by the end of this year, and it'll be over 5% by next year. Our what is it called? Our debt is geared off of having a GDP of 3.5. So we've almost doubled we added 50% to our GDP, which takes about 25% of the stress off of the debt payment. And because we are this last month, November, unemployment number was 4.5, which is, it's low. It's a little high, but it's still low. All of that unemployment was from government employees. The private industry employment numbers were inverse from that and positive, a couple 100,000 jobs for private citizens or private industry hiring. Government firings increased the unemployment for last month. And that's actually a good statistic because for every government employee we're not paying, that's tax dollars that are saved for 50 years into the future from having to pay retirement and all this other stuff for paying 10 people to do one job. So we're downsizing the government, which downsizes our yearly expenditures, which means we're also getting more money in from tariffs. So if we keep the income tax going for a year or two and have tariffs and lower the size of government and increase our GDP and get $22 trillion worth of new investment for private industry growth in this country, the national debt it really doesn't matter. It'll go away. It'll get paid. It's not an issue. This whole talking point was, if you think 32, 33, 34, 35, 36 trillion is bad, China's over 50 trillion. So if you think we're going to collapse, I'm almost positive the one that's more in debt than us will go first. And when they go, the world won't want us to go because they will go right after, or actually they'll go before us. So America's not going to collapse. It's all planned. And as far as that shipbuilding thing, I don't know how well you're paying attention to it. I hope you were. If not, you can go back and look at it. What I got from that and what I've known for quite some decades is that Zumwalt class and those others that were canceled. Well, for almost a decade, there was lots of legislative delays on getting those things built. And for a whole sequence or almost a full generation, we didn't increase our naval power up to the standard that we were supposed to have had it up to. So we actually saved money by not building ships for 20 years. And by not doing that, we have the opportunity to build the most advanced ships now rather than retrofit ships that we built 10, 20 years ago. And we have a lot of them to build. We have probably 400 to 500 warships to build in this country just to get us up to a national security level. Oh, hey, what's up, Gerald? Yeah, that's why we don't listen to Nickel over here, bro. But everyone has their own opinion, and not every opinion is a bad opinion. Some are, some aren't, you know. Oh my God, China is in so bad shape. I've not talked about this, but their population is at unrecoverable levels. They just by their declining numbers. I think they're at like 1.1, and I think at like 1.2, it's unrecoverable as far as being able to maintain the population numbers to keep a country valid. So within 20 to 30 years, China's going to dissolve because they don't have the people, and that's what the population birthing numbers are partially used for in understanding what's happening on. But yeah, China's population growth numbers are. I've spoke about this in prior live streams over a year and a half, 2 years ago. India's got the ideal size population and age group to be industrialists and industrial leaders to take over China's industrial capability, because China's population compared to India's population, India's population is significantly based in the late teens to 30s, where China's population heavily is in the 50s to 70s, which means the Chinese population, the majority of their numbers are in the old folks that are dying off. And when they die off, it's like, man, two old people die off. They only had one kid. That's a reverse population, and they did that for 20 years. So on top of their bad birthing numbers, they have that to look forward to. So China's cooked in so many ways, it's pathetic. And Europe's cooked too. I like seeing Poland, and I believe it's Hungary, and what they've been doing in their countries is beautiful. Yeah, the USA is about the best you got. I mean, Poland looks kind of sweet. They're just strategically located in the wrong area. They're the shield from Russia against the EU, and the EU is totally screwing them. So they actually got enemies on both sides of them, EU on one side and Russia on the other. But they're a powerhouse. I've actually done videos 2.5 years ago, and Poland actually has the second largest attack helicopter fleet on the planet, because a little over 2.5 years ago, America made a multi-billion-dollar deal with them, and only them, the only country we've made this deal with to sell so many attack helicopters to. And shortly thereafter, I think they put $500 billion into buying tanks that South Korea was going to build for them. So their military is bigger than, I guess, all of European countries together. Poland's military is still bigger than all of Europe's military. So they're well positioned to protect themselves, but they need to, because they got threats all the way around them. So I wouldn't want to live there. We have threats all the way around us, but on two sides of us, we have water and 3,000 miles before those threats hit. So we're kind of cool. And don't know if you heard about this. I don't know if I actually saved this one, because I figured it'd be touching on people's nerves. Let's see, is this the one? No, this is you don't want to see this one. That video is about our accelerated growth rate. I got another. Nah, that's more about naval shipping. Navy announced a new small surface combatant ships they're going to be rolling out. It just has to do with the same thing we're talking about. Let's see. No, I don't have that one. Dag nibbity nabbit. Here's one that should scare the hell out of you. Let's see. Let me get over here. Do a share screen. This is Sabine, my girl, my physics girl. This is the truth. Let me give her a thumbs up. This is Sabine Hassenfelder, 1.75 million subscribers. The truth about not nanobots. Nanobots? What are nanobots? Well, let's find out.
About nanobots for 40 years, but now they're close to being used in medicine. At least that's what the headlines say.
Yeah.
Scientists unveil tiny robot to help detect and treat bowel cancer. Scientists invented sperm bots that they piloted through a fake cervix and uterus. Swarms of tiny nose robots could clear infected sinuses. Nanobots will be flowing through your body by 2030. These are just a few headlines from the past months. How much of this is real progress and how much is just hype? Let's have a look. Nanobots are a fascinating research area at the interface of physics and medicine. Yes, physics. You see, a nanobot is basically a tiny machine that swims around in the human body, either to deliver drugs or to collect data. It needs to be able to maneuver in a wet, warm, and wiggly environment. It also needs to be powered somehow and either be steered or be able to find its own path. And one nanobot usually can't do much. One needs an entire swarm of them, so they need to cooperate with each other somehow. These problems are all more on the physics and engineering side than on the biological side. Though, of course, there's also the issue that the whole thing needs to be somehow biocompatible so that the immune system doesn't try to fight it off and that it doesn't leave toxic residues. That sounds difficult, but the promise is real, and this is why nanobots make all these headlines. The issues with the nanobots become apparent once you have a closer look at the headline-making examples. For one thing, the name nanobot is somewhat misleading because most of the example bots are still in the range of typically tens of micrometers. They tend to be little pieces of metal, basically, with some basic propulsion system and a basic steering system. Though some of those bots work by basically exploiting bacteria as carrier, so they're kind of tiny bioelectric hybrids. The tiny robot that the Financial Times headlines about is actually about 1 centimeter in size, and it's externally steered. The next reality check is that the microbots that are
I got something to say there, Mr. Mike. Where's your statement? You say where are you? Where's your statement, Mike? Aren't nano countries? Nope, that wasn't it. Someone said they wouldn't put them in your body. I don't know if anyone's known this. Jeffro said he remembers them putting a nanoscale lab in Aragon, Illinois. Well, I don't know if you guys noticed. I guess it would depend on if you go in federal buildings or not. But since the turn of the millennium, excuse me, federal buildings, visual security officers were at a decrease because they have a nano dust. And same with when banks carried money towards the end, when they still had money in vaults and they had Brinks come along and pick it up in their trucks. They have nano dust that they release, and they got a little radioactiveness to them to where they can track whoever gets landed on by that nano dust through aerial and satellite footage. For national security reasons. They don't use it at banks, but like, what do you call it? U.S. mints and shit. They have that technology there. Let's get back to the program.
typically being trialed aren't self-propelled. They need to get their energy from some external source, usually that's light. The issue with light is that it's dark in the human body, so you have to follow your bot swarm with an optical fiber to power it. and these bots don't know where to go. So you have to use magnetic fields to direct them, meaning, well, the patient needs to stay in the magnetic field. Take, for example, this study about delivering treatment to lungs or sinuses with tiny robots. These are the tiny robots that might clear your sinuses. They're basically magnetic goo. The issue here is that in these places, antibiotics might not work very well because the bacteria form a slimy film on top of the tissue. The idea is that one can then use the microbots to deliver antibacterial drugs directly where they need to be. The reality is, though, that this has very little to do with bots. They're just putting the drugs on some sort of carrier, power them with an optical fiber, and direct them with magnetic fields. It's not that this is a bad idea, but it's not much of a bot. It's like calling a shopping trolley a self-driving car. And it's like this with pretty much any tiny robot study. They aren't robots in any reasonable sense of the word. And none of those studies has been in humans. They've either been in mice or in rabbits. That isn't to say that this sort of thing is useless. I'm just complaining that the way it's being presented in the media isn't accurate. You definitely don't want these bots swimming in your bloodstream. They're too big and they can't do anything either. What they might actually come in useful for in the near future is to treat certain types of infection in areas that are quite close to the surface and where drugs might be difficult to deliver because they aren't well absorbed by the tissue. There could be lungs or sinuses or urinary tract infections, and if you look at the reviews, this is what they focus on. But it's not like you'll soon take a pill and nanobots swarm in your veins to perform custom tasks. You'll have to stay there for the treatment while the medical staff steers the so-called bots to their target area to release the drugs or take whatever data they should be taking. So I'm afraid my summary is that nanobot headlines are bullshit 9 out of 10 times. They just aren't bots in any meaningful sense. A more accurate term would be remote-controlled beats with ambition. But when real nanobots finally arrive, I want the deluxe model, one that treats infections, tidy sinuses, and stops me from making bad jokes on YouTube. Hello? It's the future calling. It wants to apologize for not working as advertised. Yes, I do read a lot of news and know that chatbots still aren't any good at writing my scripts. But what does help me a lot is Ground News.
She's just selling some of her product right there. That was funny. She is a funny chick for being a physicist. Holy cow, I went full screen. Cool. I would not doubt that at all. We use, believe it or not, they've trained dolphins to put clamps on divers' legs that have balloons on the clamp that inflate once they lock on the diver's leg, and they use them around secure naval ports to get people to float to the surface who are underwater in secure areas and they're not supposed to be there. And I don't know if they're effective and we're using them, but they have trained and did use them to train dolphins to do that in naval areas here in America. Part of the reason why you need the TWIC card to work on in a shipyard or naval base is because it's a higher security area than a regular job. Also, higher pay. Your forklift job on a regular job site might make $20, $25 an hour. You get a forklift job on a shipbuilding yard or a dock, you're making $35 to $40 an hour. Because not everyone qualifies for it. They don't make the security check. A lot of reasons why that people don't get it. It's a good thing to get into, though. Yeah, they do that for cancer to check for what are those nodes in your lower intestinal tract, some sort of a nodule or a node or something that's precancerous or cancerous in your intestine system. I've had a couple people I know get that. It's a pill that has a camera in it, indeed, and it films every. I would hate to see that video. I've seen bits and pieces of it. It's not that you get vision of what's down there, but it's not like as good a picture as you would imagine it to be. It's still not one that I'd like to see. I have a friend in Southern California who's actually my partner and my boss, and of course, good friend. He retired from the Ironworks, had prostate cancer. He just told me 2 to 3 weeks ago that there's this new pill, and he was amazed because he saw the price tag because they sent him a bill, but he's got insurance and all this other shit, and it doesn't cost him that much. He said the pill costs $300,000 a pill. He's going to take like 5 or 6 of them. He was on like his 3rd or 4th one, and it was already killing the cancer, his prostate cancer, and he was fixing to be cancer free from this new pill. But it took like $1.5 million or 5 pills at $300,000 a piece to. It seems like he took his 3rd or his 4th when he'd called me, and he was really excited, saying his prostate numbers were going down, all this other shit. He was getting more energy, he was feeling more alive, all this other crap. We used to mountain bike and motocross a lot together, so the sitting down thing really got him. I've seen, I don't recall the exact name of it. There's a type of metal out there that's affected by temperature. The slightest degree change in temperature makes it flex back and forth, up and down. And they've made this metal, and they'll hold it in their index finger and thumb, and then just open up their fingers and let it float in midair. And just with the ambient air temperature differentials, that thing starts flopping and flies like a butterfly. I saw that about 15 or so years ago. They were looking at making like bees and butterflies and insect robots for all kinds of things. Mostly data collection, probably. Well, I'm glad you're concerned about your ex that much, Deja Vu. Most people would be saying, damn, he's not dead. He's fine. I'm kidding. Anyone want to come up on stage for the holidays who's never been up on stage before, or people who have been up stage? I can continue the conversation by myself. I'm a talker. How do you like that platinum price? Came down a little bit today, but still set an all-time high, a new one. Silver came down a couple cents. Let me see. We'll take a look at those. See how bright the metals feature is looking. Get back over here. Share screen. I see there. Hold on. I'm in the middle of sharing screen. There we go. We got, let's see, gold. Oh, here's a very interesting one. A couple of years ago, a year ago, 6 months ago, I was saying platinum was only 20 to 25% the price of gold. Oh, look at it now, 22.48. Double that, you got 44.96. Gold is 44.80. So now platinum is half as much as gold. Before this runs over with, it's going to be twice as much as gold. How's it going, JM?
Hey, Merry Christmas, Neil. Merry Christmas, Mike, Deja Vu, Gerald, Jaffro, Shovel Monkey, and anyone else I missed?
Silver Rugger.
Silver Ruger.
I think of rugby, so I say Rugger.
Okay. Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. Yeah, I was just in the middle of a whole bunch of stuff, but
right on.
You know how it is.
As long as you're getting stuff done, it's all good, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I thought I'd come up and say hi to you anyway, and see what you're saying.
Right on. I'm going in a slightly different direction. It's going to take a week or two longer to turn out this product I want to turn out. But by the way I'm going about it, I'm getting a computer design sketch of it, exact parameters of size for this gym, so I can have a cast made. And I'm having the dude do the computer work to get this done, to where it'll start off with a 7-carat size. But if I want to downsize it, I just tell the guy downsize it, and the computer program automatically takes it down or up to whatever size carat and gives the exact dimensions. So I don't have to keep redoing it. It's like an automatic redo on that design of a gym. All I got to do is have it done on like the 8 styles of gyms, and I'm set.
Yeah, that's great. Probably on CAD or something like that, I guess.
Yeah, he teaches that in college. He's a CAD professor.
Beautiful. Yeah, I don't know much about it other than what it does, but yeah, I know that's fantastic, man.
Yeah, he does the professor thing part-time. It's like more of a hobby for him, because he started a business making space engine products or components for SpaceX.
Yeah.
And he ended up selling that company and semi-retire, and he just does it because he's bored. So he teaches college part-time.
It's interesting too with the platinum. I've heard I'm not going to name any names, but recently heard quite a few live streamers saying nobody's been talking about platinum. Right?
No one has. I've been getting blackballed on shows when I talk about it. Yeah. I'll be talking. You'll see that crown sticker go from 25, 50.
Here's 70. The medal that nobody's looked at yet.
Man,
oh my God.
I can't believe it. It is so enraging to me, brother.
But you know what? That's part of the YouTube freaking game. It's like you got to get people to click, and then in the live stream they'll qualify it and they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm sure there have been other people that were talking about it and everything, but
no, it's still the redheaded stepchild, and that's a shame. You know what though? That's for people who are sponsored. They ain't talking about it. People who aren't sponsored, like Neil's on Dynasty, I'll give you all the information, baby. All the big boys, the Rick Rules, the Andy Sheckmans, all these guys, they ain't going to tell you about it. Come talk to me. I'll tell you all about platinum.
Yeah. No, there's lots of people that have been following it for a long time. But like yours, not really so much a smaller channel, but it's not one of the ones that these guys are watching. So like they probably don't even know who you are. Although I gotta say, like when I go around quite a few of the precious metals channels, I see you on quite a few of them. Quite a few of the good ones too.
Yeah. All I know is I felt good yesterday on my live stream. I had a subscriber come in and said that they had picked up 4.5 ounces of platinum at $750 because I was talking about it. And even though I was unable to take advantage of it, I've always said, and this is the thing, this is part of the Be Kind, Helpful, and Grateful. If you do research and you find out things that are advantageous to take advantage of financially or otherwise, to hoard that information for yourself just because you can't take advantage of it, that's just, in my opinion, wrong. So I give out all good information that I get to others. I have not been able to take advantage of the platinum run. I've watched this whole thing happen, and my career is still getting squashed. It's going to turn around because the shipbuilding industry and lots of things, but I'm going to miss the opportunities that I've been telling people about. But I'm very happy that other people have gotten it, because what good it will have done for me in my being able to sleep at night, or however you want to refer to it as.
Peace of mind, even.
Yeah, if I kept this information myself and just didn't give it out to people, but then to have no one intentionally talk about it, it's like, wow. And it's amazing to me that these big PM people aren't talking about it.
Yeah.
Because it's still got further to run. It just hit its all-time high. When did silver hit its all-time high?
Like Salivate Metal is another good example of someone that's talked about platinum for a long, long time. he didn't have a catchphrase like you do, where like it's a powerful like buy silver, platinum, and like just the three. But he's been stacking platinum for a long time, and he does a couple videos. I don't know, maybe 3 to 5 videos on platinum every year.
Yeah. I don't mean to take anything from Sal. He does talk.
No, I
about
know.
it.
I know. I'm talking about people saying that nobody's been talking about it at all.
Well, he's about the only one. And I've said this before on one of my live streams. I was approached by a larger YouTuber, and I asked him a couple questions, and he validated everything I said about platinum, and then said he still wasn't going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So there is a suppression going out on the information that's out there for. I mean, let me say, there's a suppression of interest being placed on platinum intentionally, and I haven't figured out why. That's all I can say.
A lot of the time, it's industry. They don't want the common person having this stuff in their hands. Like they know the natural resources are where it's at, and like that even includes oil and food and all sorts of resources. But the minerals, the metals right now is something tangible. And I love the fact that in a lot of jurisdictions, you don't have to pay annual tax or fee or administration or F all to just, hold some physical bullion or coins.
It's always a good thing to have, man. Like I said, and this is the thing you got to be able to wrap your head around. We're not going to have another bull run. This one's going to end probably in 2 years, and we're not going to have another one for 45 years. The interest level of the human, it doesn't last that long. So everyone's going to forget about it. In about 40 years, people are going to start talking about it again, whatever the price is. With inflation and everything else, it'll be, manageable for people to buy smaller amounts of it. But then they're not going to want to until the very last minute, and it's going to happen again. And eventually, in the next 50 years, it's going to push 95% of people that don't have and hold it out of the opportunities to ever getting it. What other opportunities will be available? I don't know. That's future. I do know we're doing space. We will be doing space mining for platinum, but that's going to get consumed by industry real fast with the new technologies coming out. So I don't know what the future holds. Not 50 years out, anyhow.
Yeah, platinum's super rare too. Like it's so much more rare than gold. Frequently, a lot of the dealers don't have much selection.
And that's because it is so rare. And it is a little harder to get rid of because of the rarity. But see, this is the
Premiums are high on them.
The principle of rarity that people don't realize is the cost of things goes up due to rarity, but also the availability of getting rid of it goes down because of rarity. So it's an ongoing problem with anything that's rare and expensive, but people put it on platinum like it's a sin. I just don't understand. I mean, you go out and buy a 1908 Model T. Tell me you won't pay as much as a Rolls Royce nowadays for it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, freaking awesome. Good to see you. Thanks for sharing this out. You're the man.
Hey, yeah, I do appreciate that, freaking awesome. Hey, by the way, you're freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that I'm going to give you a blue Christmas.
Have yourself a
Yeah, we don't do the singing thing on this show, bro.
Whatever.
You can. I'm not going to.
Whatever. I thought this was a karaoke show. Come on, man.
This is an everything but dancing and karaoke show.
Okay.
I mean, you can dance. I mean, as long as you keep the what do you call that? The
PG level.
well, the meme up, covering up everything but showing the dogs. Like Mines of the Castle. I mean, I could dance, but as long as I keep that castle thing up and no one sees it, it's all good.
Hey, Mike, I'm not even familiar with Xmas by Corey Taylor. I've not even heard it. At least I don't think I have. Yeah, I agree. Deja vu. At least gold, silver, and platinum.
This is funny. People say copper's not a monetary metal, but what the fuck is a penny? Isn't a penny money?
There used to be copper and nickel. Was in a lot of change and still is. At least nickel plating, or nickel and copper alloy. And that's one that I think's really being overlooked. I think you were there when I mentioned it before. But nickel's pretty much the only metal that I know of that's been used in coinage as money, as currency.
Yeah.
It hasn't started to take off. It
Well,
looks like it's just been smacked down.
it had its Hunt Brother moment is why. And I don't think because of that Hunt Brother moment, I don't think it's going to fly for a couple of 10 or 20 years.
Oh, look at this from Freaking. Let's see if I can read it upside down. I like it when it's an everything channel, as I collect many. Now I gotta go over here. Different types of dust and stuff. Right.
Very creative, Freaking.
I almost had to stand on my head to read that.
I'd turn my computer upside down. It's easier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad so many people came in tonight.
Yeah, thanks to everyone that hit the thumbs up there too.
Yeah, I do appreciate that very much.
YouTube doesn't seem to be pushing Neil's channel out much, other than for the cats.
Yeah, the shorts.
Cats videos.
But yeah, I'm being actively suppressed by YouTube, man. I go into shows that I usually talk to the creators, and and when they go through this saying hi to people, they don't even recognize that I'm there. And as I was saying earlier, that crown thing where it gives the points.
Yeah.
No matter how much I talk, it stops at 25. And it seems like no one recognizes that I'm there. So it seems like I'm being shadow banned by YouTube or something.
Weird. I have that crown thing turned off on my channel, and I think it turned hype off too.
I don't know. I just know
There's a
that
whole bunch of stuff.
It's a recent change that's happened. I do know that.
Oh, Deja Vu. I've literally got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Pups videos. But you're right, I haven't done one in several weeks.
This is true. I haven't seen one in a couple weeks. Can you take over about 30 seconds? I need to run upstairs and put the washer in the dryer.
Hey, do you want me to share a Pups video while you do that?
That would be perfect, actually, since Deja Vu mentioned she wants to see some. Let's do it.
Okay, just can you hold on 1 minute?
Yeah. No, this is to please Deja Vu. Of course I'll wait.
Okay.
And I like your puppy videos anyhow.
It just takes me a minute to queue it up.
See, even Mike likes
this is a good one. This is a good one. There we go. And I'm not going to put it on high definition. I'll put it on 720.
There we go.
Okay, there it is, man.
Oh, wrong one. There we go. All right.
And then that'll give you time to go switch your laundry over.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go.
Have a good day.
Well, JM Unleashed struts down the lane with Pups in
Good.
tow,
Hey.
rolling on
Yeah.
the chain.
You're okay. Okay, that's cute.
So that's Frisco and Oreo. Oreo's the black and white, and then the little Jack Russell is Mini. And that's the first time that the two boys had met little Minnie. So what happened was I'd picked them up to go for their walk, and then we went over and I picked Minnie up, and she's a natural leader, so she always likes to lead the way.
She's like, you're darn right. Good boy, Lou. Good boy.
JM's got those pups on the run. Oh, JM unleashed, the walker of hounds. Through every
Yeah, freaking, you got all the
town.
different fonts.
With a bark and a yell and a tug on the lead. He's the man you need for a pooch in need. Neighbors wait from window panes as JM
Yeah, so that's a Border Collie and Australian Shepherd.
full of treats and a heart so kind. He's got doggy friends of every kind. One hand for a leash, the other for a sway. JM Unleashed takes it day by day.
Oh, Minnie's awesome. I've walked her since she was, 8 or 9 months old. And so she's actually the most senior dog that I walk right now, other than the two little, my sister's two little dogs.
With a bark and a yell and a tug on the lead.
Cool, Shovel Monkey.
Man you meet for a pooch in need. One hand for
Good call, Shovel Monkey.
the other for a sway.
Should see if you can drop the link in the chat there for people.
Takes a day.
If you're back, Neil, I can shut that down. That was just a nice.
No, that's a good looking dog, man. I like the blue eyes.
You want to keep it? Okay.
Let it play out, bro.
He strolls with them, giving his all.
Seeing little Minnie, she's got her back legs kicked out. Or she stood up, but she was so relaxed, she just had them kicked out. She's she trusts me 100%. 100%. Yes, Deja Vu. And they also look up to you for direction. Right? When they check in like that, that's a beautiful thing. Because they're like, I don't want to miss a sign or miss something we're supposed to do.
If you want to mess with the dogs one day, what you gotta do is let them walk ahead like that, drop the leash and lay down.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you already done that?
I wouldn't do that with them leashed up. I would do that if they were unleashed
In the backyard?
and like in a fenced area or something like that.
Yeah.
As a test. Depends on their mood too, right? I wouldn't do that if they were like in a playful mood. If they're really relaxed and we were just taking a break,
Yes.
could see that.
Hey there. Good puppies. We stay over here.
Is that
Okay,
another
thanks, Shovel Monkey.
Or yeah. Good puppies. Today's the first day that the little Jack Russell met these two.
So I don't know if you guys caught it or not, but there's a guy there that walks his right over here. That's a Swiss Mountain Dog, and she's a senior citizen dog as well. And so he's trying to just keep her calm. I actually think he'd be better off if he was just kind of kept her walking,
Good
but
puppies.
that's how he does it.
Today's the first day that
So I'm just talking with him there, and I'm keeping our distance too, right? We're far over by the fence, so his dog doesn't overreact. But you should see the three that I'm walking with. They're pretty solid. They don't get all upset and start freaking out, which is nice, even though that dog was barking at us.
good Good puppies. Today's the first day that the little Jack Russell met these two. You're okay. You're good little puppies. Have a good day.
Was that in front of you? Another dog coming up on the walking path?
Right there?
No, other direction.
Good.
I don't think so.
Yeah. You're
Something
okay.
was in the path.
Okay, that's cute.
I think it's a no vehicles sign.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You coming up there?
Yeah, the municipal, like the regional vehicles, Parks and Rec vehicles, just drive right over it. Like it flops right down when you drive over it.
Yeah, there it is. There.
Yeah, you'll get a better picture of it.
I knew I saw something out there.
Yeah. It's to prevent people from drag racing down here, right?
I always thought it was to let people know that like bicyclists, to let them know that a road was coming up. That's what I always thought it was for.
Yeah, there should be a stop sign there, like, beware.
Yeah, they got those in Walnut Creek. They got a similar walking path. Like actually throughout the whole Bay Area, it's like 250 miles worth of walking path that goes through all the cities. And the wealthier cities like the Walnut Creek or the East Bay area, their walking paths look like what your video is of, except for they do have stop signs for the bicycle path when it comes up to roads, because they do go through cities.
Watch how many walks right between us here. She'll walk right through as if to say, hey, I'm the freaking captain here. Watch. Right there. See that? She's telling the two of them, I'm the fucking boss. The only person that I freaking take orders from is JM. That's basically what she did there. Which is like, I love that. That's
She
really
took
cool.
control, man.
Yeah.
This is my boy.
Same here, Shovel Monkey. It's very, very difficult losing them, especially once you bonded with them.
Yeah, I had to put 4 down within an 18-month period. They were just all getting that age with health issues and stuff. That's why I got cats now. I put the last 2 down, and then cats started coming around. And they'll probably outlive me, so that's cool. They live 20-some years. If I live till I'm 87, holy shit, I'm doing something right, I guess, or wrong, one or.
Yeah, I don't really believe in that saying only the good die young.
No. The ones that lose out die young.
Okay. So, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Shovel Monkey said earlier, he said, hey, you guys may want to look up Tom Luango. He has a podcast called Gold, Goats and Guns. He goes into geopolitics of precious metals, and also E.M. Burlingame and Martin Armstrong. So I looked it up. I subscribed to that channel. Just wondering if you'd like me to put it in the chat.
Sure, man. Dude, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you guys, I trust that y'all are blue. I trust you to throw things down and share shit. That's what this is about, man.
Yeah, it looks good. Looks good.
Silver, or who is that? Shovel Monkey? I think that way too, but another viewpoint of that is look at all the dogs that are going to die that are in the shelter right now that you could give 5 or 6 years of life to.
Mm-hmm.
There's always another point of view on that. For every human that doesn't want to take another animal, it hurts all the animals that are out there more than it does good or bad for the human,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. And that's just my opinion.
I got bit by one of my customers' dogs last Friday. First time I've been bitten over a year.
Wow. A little one or a big dog?
Little one.
Yep. You know that here's a statistic that's not out there, but it's freaking true. Chihuahuas and little dogs bite more than any large dog out there, 100 times more. People just don't report that they got bit by a Chihuahua.
I think what happens is with a lot of the little dogs,
They're all nippy. I call them nippy.
more people don't give them the same respect as they do to a larger dog, and so I think that they kind of get the
And that's
short
all.
end of the stick on treatment and stuff like that from some people. But this one was my customers recently rescued him. It's like a little miniature poodle, and he's got really bad fear and aggression issues, especially with new people and especially with men. And so I had to. He just tried to avoid me and stay away, but for me to latch onto his collar with a leash and take them for a walk, I've got to get close enough to do that. So in the process of doing that, it's just a little nip. I'll show it to you.
My neighbor has a little nappy dog like that. He bit me. I get along with every freaking animal out there. They got this dog because their friend in San Francisco passed away, and it was his dog. So the two guys took it, and apparently it hated blonde-haired guys, and still to this day hates blonde-haired guys. So someone with blonde hair did something to it, where he just hates blonde-haired guys.
I think sometimes people don't get that right, and most dogs are colorblind. So,
well, one of his owners has long hair like me, and he's real sweet to him. And the first time he saw me, he attacked, and he's a little Chihuahua thingy.
Yeah. It depends if they've got fear and or aggression issues, then you just never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, it's one or the two. I didn't hang around to find out.
Let's see if you can see that there.
Yep.
So, not bad at all, and like I wasn't worried about it. I was kind of expecting it because he was growling at me. He gave me lots of warnings.
Yep.
But I had to take him out for walks, so I was able to put the end of the leash over his head and kind of reel him in and come to him, and then latch on with the other end. And once that was there, it was pretty good. But he was like, "No fucking way! I don't trust nobody new."
My mama's adopted sister, who also adopted her, she's like my half mom, Miss Keelan. She married her husband, Navy guy named Mr. Keelan, obviously. She was born in the Chihuahua province of Mexico. And the way they make tacos down there from her family is the way I like tacos. So if you're from the Chihuahua region, you probably make tacos the same way I make tacos, because Miss Keelan was born there, and she brought her family recipe up. And every Wednesday we'd have tacos, enchiladas, or something of her family's recipe.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
And speaking of Mexico, I don't know if everyone else recalls this. A lot of the Mexican mines got shut down. I think last year they started shutting them down, their silver mines. So if there is a silver squeeze, one could come to the conclusion that it's manufactured by industry not mining, because they shut their mines down. That's causing this, which means it's a manufactured spike in the price.
Okay.
Because last I recall, fucking Mexico shut down a lot of their mines, and like Silver, Majestic, First Majestic, and all these other companies were real worried about their mines being shut down, and they were trying to get their other mines outside of Mexico producing more in case they did get shut down. And I think Mexico shut down quite a few silver mines. Not all of them, but they shut down a lot. So they can reopen those back up at any time, and then the production flow goes. Another reason why also that's happened with gold. I did a report. The largest, second largest gold mine in the world in Africa shut down for like 2 years. It just reopened last year. I think that was to make gold go a little short.
Oh, there's so much gold too. Like, it almost seems like it's a renewable resource.
It is, brother.
Like, I don't think it's full. Like, it's not as renewable, say, as trees,
No, but
as a crop of corn or something like that.
you've got a microbe out there, and I've given the name for it. Anyone can Google search it. Just Google search what microbe poops gold, and it's a real long name. 2 names together tells you what type of microbe it is, and it attacks toxic heavy metals, ingests them, and poops out 24 karat gold. So the way we were told gold is made isn't just like oxygen. Each and every one of us went to school knowing that only trees created photosynthesis, and that's how oxygen was made.
Hold on, there's a little microorganism that poops out 24 karat gold.
Yes.
Come on, man.
No.
You've been smoking too much of that freaking.
Nope. Hold on. Microbe.
Now, if this is AI generated with a Asian guy narrating it, I'm gonna freak out.
Oh no, it's not. It's
I'm just joking around.
let's see.
It's funny, a couple weeks ago, I actually sent one of those videos to Sal by email. I said, a lot of good information in here. It was the first time I'd seen that, and I knew the guy was AI, and I didn't fact check everything in it. Probably like 97 or 98% of the info in it was accurate, but there was a couple things in there that weren't right. And Sal pretty much shut me down and said, "Don't send me any AI stuff." In a nutshell, right? Like, he doesn't like it. Like, that is competition, and it's not good for the community. If especially, what did he say? Because they're not held accountable. As a human YouTube channel creator, you can be held accountable for what you put out. But if it's just some AI bot doing it,
I go with the Hershey's Kisses or gold. Yeah, it's right there. That's the name of it. Cooper Vaderis Metallurdurus.
Oh, I thought you were going to share a video on it.
No, it's not. No, it's not a video of it at all. It's just.
I wanted to see the thing pooping out 24 karat gold. I was going to start following them around.
No, that's how I knew it wasn't. It's just written information that's out there that when you ask, you get. It's not like a video or anything like that. Those you got to be concerned about for sure. Especially seeing a microbe. And you know how much it would cost to videotape a microbe doing that shit?
I don't know. I was thinking of starting to farm them.
Well, they also have microbes out there that eat microplastics. They've developed a microbe that eats microplastics, and they are actually developing it in large sums to put out there to eat all the microplastics in our water.
Yeah.
A lot of cool things going on.
Yeah, there's people doing videos like how much gold is in a bag of Home Depot sand.
And there is gold in it.
A dump truck full of sand, right? And they go through and pan it or separate it, however they do it. And there's not much though.
Well, I did another video on Russia producing 1,000 kilograms a day of gold, but they're getting it not in the actual what you'd consider gold form. They're getting it in a microscopic level out of this rock that they crush. And I was showing a video of the rock. It was one of those like 2-ton or 4-ton or big fucking like Tonka toy looking trucks that hold a lot of dirt. But they had little like gray rocks, 1 foot cubish kind of rocks. And they were
it's like a mining dump truck.
Yeah, a mining dump truck.
And they said
each dump truck that they were putting this rock in had over $20,000 worth of gold in it. That's how much gold was in those rocks. That's why you want to look at buying old time closed down small minor gold shafts where they followed with their eyes the gold, because it's been proven that if you follow your eyes about 1 foot on each direction, 10 foot on each direction of your eyes, there's still gold. It's just in the rock and you don't see it, and there's probably more of it there than what your eyes see. So,
A friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of mine that lives up north goes through the old mines. Very, very dangerous, but he finds lots of stuff, lots of leftovers, and I don't think he's supposed to be doing that, but he makes a humble living doing it, a modest living. There you go.
and this is where robots will come in handy, because if you buy an old mine like that, it's a dead end, maybe 50 yards in, and it ends.
Sounds like you took your false teeth out.
I'm eating a Hershey's Kiss.
Yeah, I knew you were eating something.
They stick 2 robots in there with rock crushers, or not rock crushers, but rock. To get them to crush the rock and have them haul it out, and you're on the outside. All you got to do is stick that rock in the rock crusher and extract the gold ore out of it. And you can have 2 robots doing the mining, and all you're outside doing is sifting the rock material out in a machine and getting gold out of it.
Yeah.
You can
Well,
make
I want to share
you
something
make
else
a
with
that.
you. Check. I want to share something else with you guys here.
Sure.
So, like, it's not exactly mining, but I could see this type of equipment being used possibly on a large scale for getting in for some gold. This one here is actually bridge demolition. And
That's the Hershey's Kiss I'm talking. That's the chocolate I'm talking about there. Deja vu. Hershey's Kiss, not dogs. I'm sorry, Jan. She was having too much fun. Oh, those things are awesome, dude. Oh my God, I've seen them working on the.
I'll turn the volume up on it just for like 15 or 20 seconds, just so you guys can see how loud it is, and then I'll turn it down so we can chat. Cool?
Right on, yeah.
Okay.
Where's that at?
That is it near Toronto.
I bet the people that live there hate that.
They got the whole thing down in one night.
Yeah, they still hated that one night.
Yeah. So I think everyone was sent notice. Everyone would have been sent notice probably 6 to 12 months in advance.
Saying you're gonna have one day of your life ruined by loud noises.
But so what they've got is those booms with jackhammer attachments, and then like massive jaws of life type attachments.
The clamps.
Yeah, and they work together.
I can see why they didn't blow it up if it's in a residential area. That was my curiosity when I saw those vehicles. I was like, why the hell didn't they just dynamite it and take it down that way and fucking load it in a truck?
Yeah. And you know what? I'll speed it up just so you can see, because it's a 6.5 minute thing, but it's ripped down that fast. So we'll do this. Let's see if it'll play it this fast.
Fast forward.
Is it playing smoothly on your end?
Yes, it is.
Right. The mic says that's what my dentist's office looks like.
Yes, they are silver.
So
Satanist.
I was looking at it. I'm like, man, it looks like a dinosaur. It's like Tyrannosaurus Rex without any skin.
Seems like it's a small overpass.
Yeah.
I don't see why they took it down in such small chunks,
Almost
though.
done.
Go in there with a wrecking ball and just drop the wrecking ball a few times and do the same thing.
But like for mining, especially for you might need miniature versions of that.
That's where the robots come in handy with the little hammer drills.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. I don't think I could ever be, like 3 to 5 miles underground, in small confined areas like that, especially knowing that they're using dynamite.
Yeah, I'd rather be up in the air.
Yep.
That's why I chose ironwork.
And that's why that's why Dennis called them bridges, says Deja Vu. Good one.
Yeah, you see how hard it is to get them out? How much pain you have to go through?
I don't know. I've never had one, but
Neither have I, but I agree, dentists are terrorists, man. They don't. That is a barbaric trade.
dentistry.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You figure we'd have been more advanced than that by now. I've heard they've got these stem cell treatments where they can grow your new teeth. I'm highly interested in that one, but it probably costs shitloads.
I had one of my back teeth removed.
Dude, I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth removed before I was 17.
Yeah, I had them taken out too. But this one, I didn't have them put me out. I said just use local anesthetic. I'll deal with it.
Fuck that.
Man, this dentist had a heck of a time with the freaking thing, and I can feel it. It's like vice grips or something going on it.
Yep.
And then he's pushing it up and down and up and down, back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, wiggling it loose.
And then he's pulling back and he's like putting all his effort in it. I'm like, oh my God.
I would have stopped and said, hey, give me the gas, motherfucker. I want to be out for this.
I was like, wow, maybe I should have had him put me out.
Hell yeah.
It doesn't really hurt, but
no, it's the psychological shit that kills you, bro.
I thought they had a little bit higher technology than that. I didn't realize he was going to just be reefing on it.
You're looking up, seeing someone do gold mining in your mouth, trying to pull out a fucking nugget. I'll get that motherfucker out. And it's your tooth. You better hurry up, Mike, or we're going to charge you 5 demerits. Dude, I had this chick. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I've got to take a break in a couple minutes, too. I may actually end up having to take off. It's almost Christmas.
Yep. Yep, it is. I was just doing this live stream because I know there's a lot of people out there that will come in that there's a lot of people out there that don't have a lot of people around them for Christmas kind of thing.
Yep, that's true.
And that's why I'm doing this, because I'm one of them peoples. I mean, I have tons of cats, but that's where it ends.
I got a kick out of how you spelled board for the title.
Yeah. B-O-R-D.
Yeah. But it's not B-O-A-R-D, so that's good.
Yeah, true that. I could have done BOARD
Or just BROD.
or BARD, Bard. That would have really got people's attention. Bard, what's he going to do? Sing? I probably got 50 people in here if I put that up there. I might try that one time. Oh, no, it was a typo. Sorry, guys. I'm not singing.
Do some singing.
But yeah, Merry Christmas to everyone, man. I too so hope and pray that I know next year is going to be a great year. I hope and pray that everyone positions themselves properly to take the most advantage of it for their own personal lives. But there's going to be lots of opportunity. Anytime you see something get tore down, something's getting built up. If all you see is the negativity of it tore down, you're going to miss the building up, which means that basically every time something ends, something new begins, which is a good time to get into anything. So that's why I don't look at endings as endings. I see them as new beginnings. You just need to find out what's new coming to take over the old ending. Hey, none of that hissing shit. Sorry, this is cats.
Well, that's part of having cats, you know?
Yeah, not all of them get along all the time. That's all cool. That's why I'm here. I'm the head machismo.
Yeah. They look at you as the mobile scratching post.
I'm the pride leader.
The leader of the pack.
Yep. If they fight and I come along, they stop fighting, look at me, knowing that both of them that we're fighting are in trouble. So yeah, they still got their personalities, but they know I'm the man.
So how about tips for cat owners? Right, you're a very experienced caretaker of cats. For anyone that's never had cats before, and is considering, getting a cat as a pet, what would your top things be to tell them?
Let the cat's personality come out and enjoy whatever that personality is, because you'll enjoy it more than what you try to put on the cat.
Just let it be.
Cats' personalities are a lot different than dogs.
Oh, yeah.
And if you allow a cat to grow and have you in its life as it's developing its personality, you will have an amazing experience with that animal. That's why it takes a different type of person to own a cat.
Now, what about taking cats for a walk? I've seen people, they get a harness for their cat and they take their cats on adventures.
You can, that's another misconception about cats. You can train cats. It's just people don't. I don't know why. You can train cats, and it's actually visually in front of our eyes every time you look at circus shit. What are those big cats? Trained. Where do little cats come from? Big cats. So why can't you train them? Wow, I didn't think about that one. Okay, cool. That's why you can't train them. You didn't think about it. Yes, you can train cats. You can train tigers. You can train lions. You can train pumas, and you can train house cats. Actually, it's easier training a house cat because they won't bite your head off.
Okay, I'll be right back. I got to take a quick break.
Yeah, you do your thing. I'm going to smoke some pot and blow it into the screen. Hope other people get stoned.
Nice.
Kind of share part of the kind of this thing. You can punish them. It's just you can't punish them like humans. See, that's the problem with most humans. They think that animals are human when they go to teaching and punishing. And each animal is different from itself, including humans are different from apes and elephants and tigers. Everything's different, so you have to approach it differently. If you find the right approach, let me rephrase that. If you punish a cat and they hate you, you don't know how to punish a cat, and it's your fault. You're the intelligent species of the two. You have the opposable thumbs. They don't. And that's all I can say. We are the intelligent creatures. You got to put the time in to learn how to deal with the lesser intelligent creatures. the advantageousness of doing that is a lifetime of joy and happiness over fighting with a cat or a dog or a lion or a bird or a monkey or a skunk, or I don't know if it works for alligators or sharks. I've seen people try and train fish. I do know that scientists are actually training fish to avoid nets out in the ocean because they discovered that fish can be trainable. And once you train one fish, that fish will go out and teach the other fish what it learned. There was a scientific study done, I think, in the Northwest or Northeast. There was an area where it was getting heavy dredge fishing real close to the American shoreline, but not illegal in our shoreline, but it was tearing up the bottom of the ocean. So a lot of researchers got together and decided to teach fish how to avoid the nets. And then they re-released them out, and they discovered that you can teach a fish. And not like a dog, so you treat them differently, but yet people treat a cat like a dog when it comes to punishment. Yes, they do all want your attention, and they also are, see, that's the thing, Jeffro, they want your attention. Cats, not all the time. Sometimes they want your attention, but not all the time. Dogs, unless they're asleep or poop, well, even if they're pooping, they'll probably quit pooping and run up to you. You know, they always want attention. That's the difference between the different animals. And same goes with different breeds of cats. If you get a serval, one of those 2 foot tall, long, linky leg sons of bitches, they act differently than a regular house cat. They act a lot differently, but they're still pets. I've seen people have successful relationships with skunks for the whole life of the skunk because they understood how it was. It's progression of its psyche and what it does, and they learned that skunk's psychological tells, whether it was happy or not happy. So yes, they are. They are very beautiful animals, dude. Oh my God. Yeah, they are gorgeous creatures, man. And there's another one, the onyx or something, not onyx. It's not the minx. It's another one of the newer breeds of cats in the past 10, 15 years. It's not the Cyril. Cyril's ones with long legs. This one's got the tiger. It looks like a domesticated kitty cat that came straight from a tiger. And it's I don't recall the breed right now, but a neighbor back in the late 90s when I lived in Concord, neighbor across the street had one of them, and they put a 3-piece harness on it and walked it around the block on a leash, and it followed. It had no problem being on a leash. And they treated it just like a dog. It acted like a dog on a leash anyhow, but it was definitely a cat. Bengal, that's it. Yeah, the Bengal cat. Not the tiger, the cat. But yeah, you can train cats, man. Just people don't want to. I've seen people raise their cat with a dog. Dog goes swimming in the pool, cat jump in because that's what it knows. It was raised with a dog. It does. So is it natural for cats to swim? Yeah, if you teach them. You know, is it natural for a bird to fly? Yeah, luckily you don't have to teach it because that would probably hurt jumping off a building trying to teach a bird to fly. So what subject do you guys want to talk about? We know micronuclear is going to change everything for business and industry and the government, military. We know that there's a lot of jobs coming to America through the shipbuilding industry and port retrofit and updating. We know there's going to be a lot of warehouses made. There's a lot of space components going to be made You have lots of billionaires out there going to be doing a lot of stuff in outer space, man. They're going to be throwing up lots of satellites. Lots of satellites are going to have to be built. So the higher educated people who make that kind of stuff, they're going to be busy. Yes, there is. Language is a invented thing for us to communicate with each other on the third plane of existence. There is a language, for example, dogs and hand signals. What is a hand signal? It's a language, but it's not a spoken language. You can have the same thing with the more intimate you get with something, the less verbal indicators you have to give, and the more subtle indicators you can give because of the interaction and knowledge of the intimacy of you and that other person, animal, whatever it is. So the more you connect with something, the more you can instinctually communicate with them to a certain level. We can do a lot of, humans can do a lot of things. We put roadblocks in front of ourselves by just using simple words like can't. Oh, I can't. Well, you could have until you told yourself you couldn't. Yeah. Humans can do anything if we put our minds to it. It's just a matter of fact of putting our minds to it. And we've been trained not to put our minds to something for more than 15 minutes at a time before we get bored with it and want to go do something else. And we've been trained for that through all the technological advances of the telephone that you walk around with, the tablet, and TikToks, 30-second videos. It all disables your mind from long-term learning and also long-term investing. It separates the wheat from the chaff. The weak minds fall out and start having a memory of 15 minutes or less, or what is that, an interest level in something of 15 minutes or less, which means you can't even learn anything if you go to a 1-hour school class, because you'll lose interest in 15 minutes because your mind's been geared to it through the technology that we've been using. Another reason why Trump said he wants to ban and purge all of our business and government of anything CCP, and why they are forcing TikTok to sell its American branch to an American company, because it's been proven that TikTok here in America shows crap shit that makes kids become more stupid. And if you go watch and see what they're doing in TikTok in China, it's all educational shit. Now, why the hell are they doing that? It's called a psyops to fuck our children. And they're legally allowed to do it. And now there's a president that's stopping them, forcing out everything CCP in our business and industry. Hey, good night, my brother. You have a great night. Drive safely, and Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for stopping by, Shovel Monkey.
Take care, Shovel. And Deja Vu is saying one syllable sounds or words are best with dogs, which is absolutely true. For a dog's name, like, one syllable is best. 2 syllables is still pretty good, but you don't want a dog's name like that yellow lab. Her name is Julia, which is
3 syllables.
3 syllables. It's not really good that way. So I know her family calls her Juji.
What about Dead Fish Head?
No, that's 3 syllables, man.
That's what I named one of my pits, my first rescue pit.
Dead fish head?
Yeah, because that's what he smelled like, a dead fish, and he had blood all over his head from an open wound. It looked like he was dead, so I called him Dead Fish Head, and it stuck. He was a little puppy, like 6 weeks old, in the trash. I was like, oh, hell no. Come here, little guy.
Right.
Had him for like 12 years, died of cancer. Ended up being 120 pounds, big son of a bitch. He was a big wimp puppy. Big, but gentle, a gentle giant.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, most of them are, man. You have to train them to be mean, bro. Their soul basically comes out. They're friendly, loving. Each one of those dogs you have, they're, except for one, I can see a smile on their face. And that's only because his face is heading in a different direction. I can't really see his snout fully. That'd be the one in the back on the left. The other 3, they look like they're smiling.
Yeah, the two up front definitely are. That's Dexter and Anna. And the two sheepdogs, I never really saw them all that much. Because this spot is like a 2-unit thing.
Mhm.
So the two up front, the darker ones, are the ones that I saw, and I dog sat them a whole lot too. They pretty much were family. The sheepdogs, they weren't that used to it with me. In fact, I think I only took them for maybe 2 walks. Their owner took them out for 2 walks every day,
Wow.
like one in the morning, one at night. On the weekends, they'd probably go for an adventure somewhere out of the neighborhood.
That's why I just have a big yard. You throw a ball, let them do the running, bring it back to you, throw the ball, let them do the running, bring it back to you, throw the ball. They don't bring it back to you, take a nap.
That doesn't do it though, because it's in their DNA to go and explore and to go for daily walks, right? It's a ritual thing for dog packs. So yeah, you can have it a nice big fenced yard is great. And that, certainly better than being in a high-rise apartment or condo,
Oh, hell yeah.
which,
If the yard's not big enough for them to get to a full run without hitting the fence, you shouldn't have them.
the one
Out here in California, a lot of people run dogs over, so you have to keep them in a fenced area, man.
the German Shepherd that I was walking for a bit was rescued. It was neglected.
Yeah.
It was brought up in a tiny apartment in Toronto, and the owners didn't have the time to really do much, so it spent 3/4 of its life in a crate.
And that's abusive.
Yeah, so he was rescued, and yeah, I like being involved in helping with that. It takes a lot more energy, and it's not as easy as just doing a regular walk with dogs that but it's important. Yeah, there you go, like the little dog on Frasier. So now, like with a little dog like that, just like Neil was saying, you can have a fenced yard for the medium size and the bigger dogs. That's beautiful. If you've got like a good 2 or 3 bedroom apartment for a little dog like that, that's decent enough for it, as long as you're getting it out for 2 walks a day. Deja Vu. I have seen that channel. Yeah, I don't binge watch it or anything like that, but I have seen it.
So is anyone getting a car from Santa Claus?
That's a good question. I wouldn't mind getting a car.
Yeah, as long as it didn't come with the note that you have to pay every month, that'd be nice.
No, if it's from Santa Claus, it's got to be already bought and paid for.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
The only thing is, you're Santa and I know I'm Santa.
I could see still having to, pay the licensing and whatnot, but yeah, I wouldn't mind a nice new car. I don't even know what I would get.
I like the new Bronco.
Yeah.
Not sold on it because I haven't really looked at new cars, but from the ones that I'm thinking of right off the top of my head, it comes to the top right off the bat.
I'm starting to think that I would get a truck.
Yeah, that's why I like the new Bronco, because it's like a truck, but it's covered. It's got a big back area. If you don't get the back seats, it's pretty much a covered truck.
Yeah. Yep. Probably like an Ford 150 or a Silverado or something like that.
probably not that big a bed.
Well, you can get the short bed.
Now, if I ever buy anything new, it's not going to be anything that'll haul anything in, because for once in my life, if I'm going to get something new, it's going to be for me, not for anything for work or for fucking hauling shit or for any of that crap. It's just going to be for me. And that'll probably never happen. So I'll just keep with used shit.
So you're saying you got a minivan?
No.
I'm just joking.
I don't, like I said, I don't even know really what I would want.
Yeah.
Probably something I wouldn't have to step down into, because that means you'd have to step up out of it. So anything small and low to the ground, like any kind of racer type thing, would be cut out. So it'd have to be some sort of a truck type thing.
Yep.
Or something where you step up into it, step down out of it.
Yep. Pickup truck could do that, or a sport utility.
Yeah.
Jeffro's got sounds like a full-size van. Those are nice to have too. Those are great at hauling. The only thing I don't like about them, because like I'm in Canada, North America, tough to get four-wheel drive on them.
See, now if I was to get a van, I would want it to be one that I could it use as like a mobile bedroom. I wouldn't carry tools or wood or anything in it. I'd make it like a luxury thing.
Okay. Yeah, something you can live in, sleep in it.
Well, yeah, like if you're going overnight drive to go somewhere, you don't have to hit a hotel room. You just fucking hop in the back at a rest station. You got a nice little, 4-hour nap place.
Mm-hmm.
Or if your old lady kicks you out of the house for the night, you got a nice little fucking 4-hour nap place.
I heard that type of living is on the rise. It's a lot.
Oh, it is.
Doing that now.
That's for younger crowd. I'm too old for that shit. I need acres, lots of acres. Welcome back, Mike.
And actually, man, you don't need to own the acres. All you need is the access to them.
Oh no, I've got business plans. I got to own the acres. I'm going to have this festival and event property. I'll need about 150 acres for parking and for the setup of the town. I'll be doing like medieval festivals, Western roundups, Oktoberfest, and like Christmas holiday light type festival thing on the land. So I'll need to own it, because I'll have to terraform part of it, throw some temporary buildings up, do electricity in areas, lay it out. And it's a business basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Now Jeff was talking about having like a heavy duty, like a 3500, or which would be like a
6500. You ever seen a 6500?
I've seen them. It's like a little mini dump truck.
Dude, those things are badass. Oh,
Yeah.
aren't they badass? I don't know how much they cost. They're probably a couple of $100,000 easy.
Diesel.
They're badass.
At least I think they're diesel.
I have no clue.
I would assume. I shouldn't assume, but I would. Hey, that would be a great application for a micronuclear reactor, man. Have it freaking powered by nuclear.
Have what power?
The what did you say it was? The 6500.
Yeah. That they will get to a point in time where they are working on and already have the technology for making diamonds, and they're already talking about using diamond coating to cover, because the diamond coating would protect us from a certain amount of radiation if it was a small amount, where you could have battery basically a nuclear reactor in a battery, but it's not really a nuclear reactor. It would just be like a 20-year battery that would power a truck or something like that. There's an F650 right there.
Yeah.
Those things, 110,000.
Like it looks like it would have similar mechanical capabilities to a Humvee, right?
Man, that thing looks like it would tow a semi truck.
Yeah, I'm sure they are used as tow trucks. For actually towing the semi, though, it's almost always a semi truck.
Yeah, it's a bigger
But
one.
I hear what you're saying. It's like halfway there.
And actually, I did a video over a year and a half ago on the Cummins diesel engine, or the Cummins company that makes the Cummins diesel engine are not making the diesel anymore. They're changing over to a hybrid system to where on the short term, it'll be a natural gas burning engine, but it'll be easily converted over to hydrogen when hydrogen becomes more readily available. And they're already turning it out to larger trucking companies, and they're doing conversions of their power plants. And like a trucking company that's got 1,800 trucks, they're doing swap outs of the engine system right now for this natural gas powered Cummins engine. And in the future, it'll be converted over to a hydrogen power. All you have to do is change out the gas fuel cell for the nitrogen fuel cell. So it'll be easy conversion where the companies won't have to buy a new engine when the conversion comes. So they're setting up for a hydrogen powered future.
Gotcha.
It's already
And
great.
platinum's going to be necessary for that, isn't it?
Huh? Oh, big time. That's why one reason why okay. Cummins engine has built an engine specifically for a median point of time where we're in between the infrastructures of the old and the new, and natural gas fills that gap right now. So they built this Cummins engine for super big trucks that for now will use natural gas because of the readily and availableness of it in the regions that they're going to be operating their trucks. But they've also built it where they know the future is going to be hydrogen, and they built it to run off hydrogen when that time comes. When you see a business model like that and a product using that business model, it changes everything as far as I'm concerned, because it gives you key features like, yeah, platinum's going to be huge in the future, because if Cummins is doing it, other truck engine companies will be doing it. Other big
front running it.
They're front running it, exactly. And right now we only have a 3-month supply above ground. So what do you think's going to happen when more of these companies want platinum to do the same thing? Platinum's not going to be there. The price is going to run up to the fucking sky. And you better hope like hell Asteroid Forge is mining space, the asteroid belt for platinum, bringing down 60 kilograms every fucking month to make up the short supply we have. And people say there's a shortage in silver. No, Mexico and other countries just cut off the silver mines. There's no shortage of silver. There's a manufacturer shortage of supply, but there's not a shortage of silver, and there is a difference.
So we should see if Nancy Pelosi's invested in Cummins then.
Now a smart investor would for long term, because that company's going to be around for quite some time. They are building for the next evolution of the future engine, and in the meantime, they're turning out a gas engine that'll convert easily to the future engine of hydrogen power, which I've already said will be the future of engines. One of them, there's going to be like 4 major ones that compete, 3 major ones that compete with the electric engine, which is going to bring down the Tesla stock because they're going to have competition. Yes, they are. They are. And that's why I'm really excited when I just told you what I told you when I found out from the company why they did what they did. Because they are a big company and they're already switching out the engines, which means that there's large trucking company, multi-million, probably $billion trucking companies that are investing in that future.
Hydrogen is zero emission, right?
Oh yeah, and so is natural gas. And the reason why they're using natural gas that they gave is because the infrastructure of hydrogen on the routes that their trucks take, within 100 kilometers, there has to be of the highway that their trucks go on has to be either a natural gas or a hydrogen refueling plant. And right now, the infrastructure for hydrogen is not there. So they're going with natural gas because the infrastructure for natural gas is there. But they're looking forward to the future when the hydrogen infrastructure will be there. Their words, not mine, not verbatim. So they're looking forward. Cummins Motors are worth big bucks. The largest in the industry is looking forward to the hydrogen engine future, which uses platinum.
the drinker of the house. There you go. She was too. She always looked like she was just blasted.
And that right there, everyone writes off the fact that that $100 is labeled on that coin by the government, and the gold coin's only valued at 50. And everyone's like, "It's no big deal. That's no big deal. That's meaningless." No, actually, that's very meaningful. You just say it's meaningless because you don't want to understand that platinum's twice the value of gold, and it's suppressed right now, and you're losing an opportunity of a lifetime buying it so cheap because you're convinced that that $100 sign on that coin that the government minted is shit, and that a $50 coin minted by your government is actually worth twice as much as that $100 coin. Yeah, I don't think so. But right now it is, yeah, but that's called manipulation, and it's ending. Even the government knows that the value of platinum is twice that of gold. It always has.
It's got silver set at 50 to 1 on the American Eagles, right?
Yeah, that's why it's a $1 value on the eagle and a $50 on the gold and a $100 on the platinum. That is the value our government places on those as monetary, as money. They value platinum at $100 an ounce as money. This is the problem I have with stackers. We're looking at the federal government telling you platinum is worth $100, and the stackers say platinum's not money. And I'm looking at a federal coin printed by a federal government saying it is. So who's right? The federal government that these people live in, their country of that federal government, or the people who deny what the federal government says blatantly in your face? They value platinum at $100 an ounce. They value gold at $50 an ounce. They value silver at $1 an ounce. Why? Hell if I know, but that's what they value it at. That means, in my opinion, that $100 is worth twice $50.
It's weird though. In Canada, the 1 ounce maple says $5 on it. Our gold maple says 50, and the gold platinum also says 50. So there's a discrepancy there.
Yeah, but which way is your government going?
Not the right way, and it's weird sometimes. Like you just get thrown these curveballs like that. It's like what?
Yeah, if they're not going to get with the program, they're going to get run over, kind of thing. You hear about, speaking of which, you hear about the next move for Greenland, or the 51st state, since Canada's west side is working kind of slow. Yeah, our future is looking so bright. If we consume Greenland, our GDP raises again, and that just makes that $37 billion debt that much less significant for the revenue and value of the country that the debt belongs to comparatively. The numbers are going in the right direction, which makes the debt less of a threat, and therefore credit will be no problem. If you still even use credit, you shouldn't need credit.
The only reason, well, I guess there's lots of reasons, but
I don't know why you can't sell in bulk. That's the greed of dealers, because you got to look at it from a dealer's perspective. Silver goes up, they'd love to fucking sell it to you, but they don't want to buy it back. Not at these high prices. If you're in business and you're running on tight margins at a $30 an ounce, all of a sudden it jumps up to 70.
But they're operating on volume though, so I think that they do want to keep buying, but they want to buy at well under spot as much as they can, and then they sell well over spot, and they make a decent living as long as they can get that volume going.
And there's more than volume. They've got to be right on their guesses of purchase amounts because of the amount of swing. If they go $2 under spot and then it drops $4, they just pay $2 over spot.
It's true. Yep, they got to make sure they don't overextend themselves.
They lose their ass, and that happens more frequently than not because the price doesn't always go up, and people aren't always selling on only those days. So you do run across those scenarios quite frequently.
You know, like in a way, I look at it as the ultimate dollar cost averaging, because they're constantly buying in under the market price, and they're constantly selling over the market price. So they're kind of dollar cost averaging in and out.
The only way you could possibly keep your head in that business is if you had coins stashed that you paid $20 for, and you had a $20 amount for on them, and then at 30 and at 40 and 50, and then you start selling them at higher price, so you know what your profit margin is off that one. Then that changes all your numbers, but they don't run their businesses that way. But if they ran their businesses economically that way, it would be more feasible and profitable for them than the way they're running their businesses right now. It's the thought process and the management and running of a coin shop that's causing them to run on such tight margins during a bull market. And it only works during a bull market, the strategy I just mentioned. And
the other problem I can see them running into is there's just so much variety of different types of precious metals and coins, and like it would be overwhelming. I think a key would be to have a streamlined sort of menu of things that you deal in.
And again, the longer you go without a bull run, the less important all this shit is to people, and you lower the amount of product you have and the type of product you have, the further away from the bull market we are. And in between each bull market is about a 45-year time period. So the interest level of the public lasts about 15 minutes after the bull run's over. So as a coin dealer, you got 45 years before people are really interested in it again. So why keep all those extra special coins? And the problem happens all over again in 45 years in the next bull run.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, because everyone knows, oh yeah, it's every 45 years is bull run. But in 10 years, you start talking about the precious metals bull run, people ain't going to be buying silver and gold preparing for it 35 years before it happens. They'll wait. And that's just the thought process of the people who are going to stay poor. That's why it's a thought process that keeps the rich and the poor. It's not what you do. It's how you think about what you do and why you do what you do. And can you stick with the why that you did what you did, or are you going to change it, which fucks everything up, and you're probably going to lose your ass. People need to be taught economics in school. The younger, the better.
A lot of things. Yeah, a lot of things that should be taught are not taught.
Yep. And vocational needs to be an acceptable supplement for a high school education. In other words, I know when I was in high school, man, it was like this. The trouble kids, the ones that didn't fit in, that didn't want to be in high school, that wanted to hang out in the parking lot, smoke cigarettes and shit, they usually went to the vocational school and did well, because the regular high school environment just wasn't for them. But the vocational school was. Then they get rid of the vocational school, and now we have more problems with schools, and people wonder why. Because we took the problem kids and put them in a school that they worked well at, vocation. Then we took away the whole vocation of education. The whole sector of education went away. It's like, okay, see what are we going to do with those problem kids now? We just added them to our educational system. Oh, we'll lower the standards. Well, let's see how well that works. Now they're lowering the standards, I hear, in one state to where they don't even have to be able to read and write to graduate high school. Holy cow. You want to know people are going to have problems with the workforce, getting jobs? If you can't read and write, you're going to have a problem working for my ass. I'll tell you that right now. So if you're coming out of high school and you can't read and write, good luck at getting a job as far as I'm concerned.
It's the 3 R's, right? Reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Yep. And that actually starts with an A.
And writing starts with a W.
Exactly.
What's the 3 R's?
All platinum is beautiful.
I can't say that I've ever actually seen platinum wire. I've seen silver wire, silver solder.
And gold. You've probably seen gold wire.
Yeah. Yeah, in like jewelry
Yeah, exactly.
videos. YouTube is serving me quite a few how to make your own jewelry, DIY jewelry.
They got some cool designs you can do with just with copper and silver, or copper and brass in wire form. Just wrap them around like a pencil and get them in that form, and have them both together, and then like flatten them and pinch them over, and you can do some sort of real cool bracelet design It looks medieval Norwegian-esque stylish, and it's like copper and brass. It's a cheap thing. You can make some money off of if you get the skill of doing it quickly.
So now, vocational school, that's like a trade school, is it not?
Yeah, a vocational school in America. It's they teach mechanics, they teach plumbing, they teach electrical, they teach carpentry. You actually spend part of your day, at least ours, you spent part of the day actually at a job, physically working, getting paid while in high school.
Nice.
Learning, kind of sort of apprenticeship-esque, but not an apprenticeship because you're in school still. But
Yeah,
you
it
got
just gives you
paid.
a taste of it, though.
Yeah, it gave you a taste of, do you really want to do this? Are you good at this? Can you learn this? Well, it just gave more options. And
Yep.
I'd rather have a kid come out of high school with a good 1 year experience at a job making money rather than a kid coming out of high school saying, hey, can I have $500,000 to go to college?
Exactly.
You see the difference?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have a kid that can buy his own car or a kid that needs to borrow $500,000. Which one do you want coming out of high school?
Well, and that's how I looked at it too. Is I was like, and that was quite a while ago. I made that decision, but it was going to be something like 100 grand, to go to university or college, or just sort of advance my career in areas where I didn't need that, and just start out like, boom, start making that cash, and you don't have the 5 year, 4 year delay of going through school and coming out with all that debt.
I quit 10th grade high school, but I did go to one semester of college. And what that one semester of college taught me is I paid a lot of money for those books to have some asshole who I didn't agree with tell me what page to read, to tell me what grade I got for doing that. So I decided to cut the professor out and just go get the books.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It didn't
Screw him.
cost me anything except for the fucking books, and I got them secondhand. And you know what? I learned the same fucking thing without paying that professor to tell me I got an A, B, C, or D from reading what he told me to read.
I don't know how they deal with it now, like, because like back then you had to memorize, you had to study, all this sort of thing, and now, well, I
Well,
guess during their exams they can't really use the AI and the grok and all that. But
it's a problem with how you learn. I don't learn the way they teach. They generically teach dumbass, and that's bothersome to me. So I always have confrontational issues with the instructors because they treat me like a dumbass, in my opinion. Even in the advanced classes, they still there's the way the teachers taught. It just wasn't proper for probably half the psyche of the students, but that was irrelevant to the style that they were being taught to teach. The psyche of the student didn't come into it. So less students were willing to learn because they weren't being taught the way they needed to be taught. They were being taught the way the administration told the teacher to teach. When the fuck did that become reality? Obviously not, because our kids are real stupid nowadays. We need to change that system.
well, the brain is such a sponge, when we're younger. So the more good information that can be um, put forward, the better.
We need to teach kids to question and find their own answers through research and other types of ways of getting knowledge on their own to get their own questions answered. If you teach a kid young to do that, our whole system, our whole world will be better off in 20 years. Because we'll have a generation of kids that can figure shit out for themselves and make it work. Well, I like the sound of that one. I have a better track record than Nancy Pelosi, and it's all on videotape for all the stocks. And the cryptos haven't played out yet, but they will play out. And I've stated the ones that I've stated, and the precious metals I've stated, and they're all doing well. The only one that hasn't, there's two. Well, Yeah, there's two that haven't played out because Clean Air Metals is playing out. It's at like 7 cents now. It's matter of fact, if Deplorable was here, he'd be hella happy. And anyone else who bought Clean Air Metals when I gave the good advice to look at it and to possibly pick it up, it was here. I'll share screen. This is awesome. I love doing this. This is like patting myself on the back, and I hope people took advantage of it.
Well, you need to do a video titled "Told You So."
Nah.
Like if you've ever seen Trailer Park Boys, Ricky says "Told you so." That's how he says "Told you so."
Let's see, go back 1 year because it was 0.35. Yeah, it was around here, but it was actually 0.35 that I was telling people to buy it, and like it's doubled at 84% year to date.
From 3.5 cents to 74 cents.
It's a 7.4.
7.4
just
cents.
7 4/10 cent. Almost 7.5 cent per. What's up, baby girls?
Now that, my friends, is a penny stock.
But it's not going to be, because if you look at this right here, that's not a penny. That's lots of pennies. 33, 32, 28. That's what it was back in 2021, 2022, when they discovered the mineral. And then they said, nope, we're not going to mine it because the price is too low. Okay, we're going to start mining it. Look at that direction. So it's probably going to go way past that 33 once they actually start mining it, and then they're going to start paying dividends. So if you're getting it right now and it goes up to what it was as its high when people thought they were actually going to mine it until the price of platinum stopped that from happening, you're looking at 4 or 5x if you buy it right now. It'd have been 10x if you bought it at 3.5 or 0.35. That's a good call. I like that call that I made.
So how long of a hold would you say that is?
Hold it till the cows come home. Probably 20 years, 10 years, 20 years.
Yep.
It's going to be paying dividends.
Yep.
And it's not the price of the stock, because you shouldn't sell it, but the price of the stock. If it goes up, like once they actually start pulling platinum out of the ground, it's going to be a $10 or $20 stock, and they're going to be paying 50 cent to $1 dividend, which means the way I look at that stock is it's going to pay more in dividends per share once they start mining than it costs to buy the share. And dividends are quarterly, annually, you get them once, twice, 3 times yearly. So if you're going to get a return on investment of a dividend, even if the dividends are only 25 cents, if you're buying it at 7.5 cents, that's still 4 times as much as a dividend payment per share.
So that's saying if you put 1,000 in, you end up getting 4,000 per quarter.
Basically, something like that. In that realm, the numbers aren't totally right, but in that realm, yes.
Okay, nothing on here is financial advice. Any forward?
Nope, it's all good advice, not financial advice.
Yeah.
I only give good advice. I don't give financial advice. I don't give anything other than good advice. Don't listen to me. It's all bullshit. Anyone who tells you they give good advice is full of shit, but I give good advice. So I'm full of shit, so don't listen to me. But my track record might say differently.
Well, there's a huge contrast between advice and opinion.
Well, when you say like financial or medical before the advice, you're really in problems. I just use the word, I give good advice, because that has nothing to do with any of that. It's a total different carrot. It's a different vegetable. It doesn't fit in the realm of financial or health. It's just good advice. Moms and dads give good advice every day. It's not a bad thing like financial or health advice can be seen as, in my opinion, anyhow. And I haven't got popped for saying that, so yay.
It's good.
Let's see here. And even my nano nuclear energy, it's at $30. I told people to get into it when it was 18 to 20, so you're still up 50% on that.
You guys should be able to buy stocks in Canada, though.
If they're on the American, yeah.
Frequently, they're listed on the
Means
NASDAQ.
that there's a way to do it for sure. If it's not on the American Stock Exchange, I'm sure there's a way you could hook up.
Frequently, they're on the NASDAQ.
Yeah, then that's how you do it then probably. Oh yeah, and what do you think about the stock MJNA? It's still cheaper than hell, but just like Neil said, Trump's going to sign an executive order to reclassify weed from a class 1 to a class 3, and everyone's like, yeah, whatever, Neil. It just happened last week. So if you look at your marijuana stocks, they're gonna start pumping. Not sure exactly when, but definitely by the end of the first quarter of next year, the money flowing into that sector will start showing.
I'll tell you, there's a ton of dispensaries around here already. Like,
well, I'm not so sure the money's going into the actual dispensary side or that side of the business. It's going into research and development, and there's that side of the business will get a bump. That side of stocks, but the majority of the stocks that'll get the initial and the bigger bumps will be stocks that are looking to do research and development for new types of drugs and new types of products to be developed from the marijuana and the hemp tree or plant or whatever. Those stocks will be doing good. The marijuana stores, it probably won't affect them that much at all, other than the publicity of the money flowing in.
Gotcha. So you're looking more like for industrial uses.
That's why the law changed. It reclassified it from class 1 felony to class 3 misdemeanor, according to the president when he signed, specifically for financial investments into that industry for future medical development and advancement and industrial development and advancement, not for the pop culture of smoking weed.
Gotcha. Yep.
So, and that's why all the big money is going to flow in, because there's a lot of money. There's going to be a lot of medical research coming from this executive order, money flowing into researching marijuana for different cures for lots of different things. Those stocks, companies that are doing that type thing, those stocks will take off. Companies that are into manufacturing of a marijuana for it to make it another product, whether it be for like a CDB, pain relief or whatever type thing, they will do well. The companies looking to process the marijuana plant into lumber, they will do well. The people growing it to sell it, they're not going to do so well. The business part of it's going to do well. The recreational part of it's not going to do. I mean, it'll do as well as it always does. It's not going to get a big bump from it. Is what I'm saying. This executive order, all it did is make it again, it's not a felony, but we already have like 28 states that have made it legal in the state where the federal law didn't apply anyhow. So that's not really a big change as far as monetary investments. Half the country here in America has already had it medically marijuana by state. Where the big money's coming in through all 50 states is the industrial allowances that are being brought in and research and development for the industrial use cases and the medical use cases of the marijuana. That's where big effects coming in. I'm glad I clarified that too. Because there is two sectors of the business. The recreational is not the one that's getting investments.
Yeah, that side of it, I think, will grow on its own anyway. Just naturally. You don't need to pump any money into that.
Yeah, things like what Deja Vu said.
The thing that concerns me, though, is, they're using the science to strip out, potential benefits.
And that's Trump specifically talked about the medical uses for, and he brought up specifically cancer and military uses. Drugs to be manufactured for the benefit of those situations he mentioned specifically. And that's how that it's going to be medical advances and research and development into the marijuana industry, and also industrial uses and experiments and stuff like that done to improve industrial use cases, opening up even a bigger industry of marijuana, to where you have hemp lumber and hemp products coming out, because it's not a felony, it's a misdemeanor. Because a class 3 drug is a misdemeanor, class 1 drug is a felony. And the difference is public money can funnel into the industry of a misdemeanor. It can't funnel into the industry of a felony.
Interesting. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, Neil's a smart motherfucker.
Hey, did you ever watch that TV show Big Bang Theory?
Yes.
Have you ever had anyone compare you to Sheldon?
Yeah, shut up. I'm better looking and not as thin. And I got better humor. And I'm not so mommy orientated.
But not just any Sheldon, right?
No, I like the show, and I often had that same thought, and I often told myself exactly what I just told you. Well, I'm not like him.
Yeah, I won't mention names, but there was one of your subscribers that said that the other day, and I forget exactly what it was. Neil's like, was it like a Sheldon on? No, it wasn't a Sheldon on pot or a high Sheldon, but it's like something to that effect.
Right on. I'm just me, guys, and I just, like I said, I hate seeing good information go to waste. So if I can't take advantage of it, I turn it out to everyone. I turn it out to YouTube, and whoever sees it, sees it. Whoever takes advantage of it, takes advantage of it. It makes me sleep better at night knowing I got the information out there. I hope a lot of people see it, take advantage of it, because I believe that I have done nothing but show successful strategies and ways to increase your monetary gain. And you can go through my videos and see the calls that I've made and see if they're good or if I'm actually trying to deceive people or whatever the fuck people do on YouTube. I have no interest or reason to lie to anyone. I'm not even monetized. I mean, realistically, this is a waste of my time, as far as time being energy, because I absolutely get nothing from this other than meeting people that want to interact with me. There's no financial or economic gain on my part. So I have no legitimate reason to lie, because there's no gain. And if you understand the psychology of a lie, there's usually a gain.
Well, and in some ways, it's a form of building community too, right? So,
well, and
know,
that's the reason why I started.
Being sincere and trying to give back and pay it forward and all that sort of thing.
I wanted to build a
fantastic.
community
Yeah.
of people that can share great ideas to help other people get through difficult times of different parts of everyone's life, if not the world, all at one time. Just the sharing of ideas through a platform. And that's why I try and bring unique and different shit, different videos that are way out there, because it will make you think. And if you think, well, hell, you just bettered yourself. Well, thank you, Jeffro.
And thanks for that compliment earlier. I'm pretty sure that was from Jeffro saying anyone subscribed to us obviously has above.
Yeah, that was Jeffro.
And I've never actually done an IQ test. And I thought about it, and I'd be actually a little bit nervous because I figure I'm just, slightly above average IQ.
Well, most everyone, well, let me rephrase that. 35, 40 years ago, most every American was above the world average IQ. Our schooling system has produced a lot of people below average IQ. But a way for a country to keep an above average IQ is to prevent cousins from marrying and having children. Because if you look at the countries, and this might get me a strike, but it's factual information. If you look at the countries where they allow cousins to get married and have children, the IQ of that country usually is below 90. And the reason for that is the physical properties of what do you call that? Not incest, but marrying your cousin, having kids is just too close genetically. And
it's inbreeding.
Inbreeding. Yeah, there's a lot of like inbreeding effects that lower IQ. So the countries that don't allow you, and this has nothing to do with race, religion, or anything. It's just a statistic, a scientific statistic. Countries that do not allow cousins to marry and have children, their citizens typically unless their education department has specifically done stupid shit over decades to lower the IQ, the average IQ of people in countries that do not allow cousins to marry and have children is significantly higher than countries that do allow cousins to marry and have children. So knowing that statistic, if you look around the world and find out what countries do and do not allow it, you'll see a lot clearer picture of what's going on in the world and why. But America doesn't allow it, so we have actually, until our Department of Education started intentionally making our children stupid, which happened about 35, 40 years ago. It's really bad now. We actually had an average, a higher than average IQ here in America. It was between like, I think 1 and 120, I think was the average IQ here in America. And the typical IQ in the Middle East is about 70 or 80, 85. Then you know what countries allow inbreeding. And it has nothing to do with anything other than rules and regulations for breeding. It is not based upon color, sex, religion, or anything else. It's just it's a fact. Countries that allow it make their people stupid. Certain governments like people that are stupid because they're easier to control. Let's know what kind of governments are in control of which kind of people. You can learn a lot from this shit, people.
Yeah, but you don't want a bunch of people running around that have like 3 arms and 5 legs. And
Well, that's on the country that's allowing it, bro.
exactly.
You know, that's on them. It's not for us to determine what they want for their people. They vote for it. They do whatever they, you know. We need to back off and let them be stupid. They'll breed them. They'll lose. If you breed stupid, you only get stupider. You know, as John Wayne says, if you're gonna be dumb, you got to be tough.
That's a good saying. I never heard that one before.
Oh yeah.
I like it.
I think it's actually, if you're gonna be stupid, you got to be tough. And then another one was, life is hard. It's even harder. Yeah, that's what it is. Life is hard. It's even harder if you're stupid. That's where the stupid came in.
Do not mention any countries if you do not want YouTube strikes.
And that's why I didn't mention any countries. I just said, look at the countries that allow legislatively things to happen through their government. And it tells you a lot about that government's opinions of their people and how they, and if they'd rather control them or govern them. A difference is, if you have a low IQ population, you're controlling them, which makes you more totalitarian or dictatorship, to where if you're increasing the IQ of your people, you're more governing them than controlling them. Again, unless your Department of Education intentionally lowers the IQ of your students over 40 years.
Right. So I was just thinking, like, what if they did an IQ test on a random 1,000 people in North Korea? How would that turn out?
North Korea? Oh my God, they'd probably have like a. You know, hold on. They naturally have semi-high IQs by birth, but it's also. Oh wow, that'd be hard to tell.
It's very controlled, though, right? And
yeah, no, what they're allowed to develop. IQ. See, this is the same. Intelligent quotient doesn't mean you're smart. It's your ability to learn. So you can be a dumbass with a high IQ because you didn't engage your IQ and you didn't fill the cup up. So it's still empty. So you're a fucking idiot with a high IQ. It's your ability to learn and retain knowledge is the IQ marker.
So it's like potential intelligence, not
potential. Yes, potential.
Not necessarily.
Yes, it's not. Oh, he's smart. No, it's he has the ability to be real smart, but is he a dumbass? Because that means he hasn't learned yet. So don't listen to him.
And that's a different test.
Yeah, that's when you get
Which someone said here too, right? It was Jeff Rogan says, I'm not a fan of the new. Oh no, it wasn't that one. It was about the tests. Don't like tests. Real world experience is better. Something like that. I don't see it in here now. There it is. Tests are stupid. Real world application says it all.
Yep. And that's what I was about to mention. There's different levels of IQ. I've read stories of people that have well over 200 IQ, And one dude, he said like supposedly a 200. Wow, I mean, okay, this guy had like 230, 240 IQ here in America somewhere. No one knows about him because he has issues that personally to me freak me the fuck out when I listen to this guy try and talk, and I can't, because of how he does things, I can't listen to him no matter how smart he is. And what I mean by that is his quote unquote tick for being smart is while he's talking, he'll giggle.
Dang.
And it's very unsettling. But he's got like a 230, 240 IQ. So what he's saying, you really want to hear, but the way he's presenting you really makes you not want to listen to him.
Like he's possessed or something?
I don't know. I don't listen to him.
But
It is something about him that the way it's his delivery is like it's just unsettling. That's all I can say. It's I can't listen to him. So any knowledge he does have is irrelevant because most people, even smart people, have issues with receiving that knowledge. So at a certain level of intelligence, you have issues with delivering that intelligence to the average lower intelligence. So when it comes to IQ, you can actually be too smart. So you want to hang around people with like 120 to 160 is perfect. Anything higher than that, you're getting into crazy. And it's not really crazy. That's misnomenclature. It's so intelligent that we can't conceive their level of thought, which makes us perceive them as a little bit off, when actually it's us that's off, but we see there's more of us, so we perceive it as normal.
Mm-hmm. Are you still going for a while here, or are you shutting her down soon?
Actually, I'll leave that 100% up to you. Let me see how much time I've been on already. Yeah, typically I would have already shut it down, but I will stay on if you want to stay on. If you're going to come back, I'll stay on for a little bit. I mean, it is, as long as there's people here, man, there's people that don't have someone else to talk to. So, this is a time of year where people need people to talk to and say things to if they don't have a house, so I'll stay on for longer if you're coming back.
Yeah, you got some people on. I'll be back in like 4 or 5 minutes.
Right on. Yeah, I'll stay on here. Intellect without street smarts is a horrible thing, and that's another difference. A different type of intelligence is your average everyday knowledge of everyday things that happen in society at the time in society, and they changed. We had the hippie days. We have nowadays we have the rock and roll. So society's changed, but you have the street smart people that can, and they have higher IQs too. It's a different intelligence, a different type of intelligence, I guess. And then you've got the book smart type, the people that like the Einsteins and the Teslas. They're the genius smarts. But your street smart people are people that can, like, you can't do it today because you can't carry a computer system with you to fix a car. But when you used to be able to fix cars, there would be people that would walk up to the car. You'd be like, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with it. They'd like start it up, let me hear. And they'd hear it and they'd be able to do some things to it. Boom, it start. And you're like, what the fuck did you do? And they're like, oh, well, did you just do this? You can hear it. That's like a street smart kind of person, where a book smart or a nerd in a library who's got 180 IQ couldn't do anything even close to that. But they're also smart. So it's a utilitarian type of IQ, and then just a general IQ, where if you go too high on the IQ, you get perceived as bizarre or weird or semi-crazy. Like Rain Man, that movie Rain Man, kid had a hell of a high IQ. His one glitch where he could actually deal with reality is he could present to others his math in a manner that someone picked up on, and in that case, I believe it was Tom Cruise's character, and he used the cat's intelligence to make money. So it's our perception of their intelligence that allows us not to be able to deal with people that are highly intelligent, because I believe a lot of autistic people have a high intelligence. We just don't know how to interact with them. And that shows a lack of intelligence on our part. Or a lack of interest. Actually, I believe Kennedy believes it. Health and Human Services lead dude, department head, is giving vaccines too early, screwed up the chemistry of the child. That's a good. You're bored till tomorrow when everyone comes over and tears your house up, eats dinner, and leaves you with a mess. That was Kmart. Yeah, Kmart's closed down. What's up, Yus? You know, counting cards, it's hard to tell if someone's counting cards. I don't see how they do it. So if they even just suspect you of it, that's all it would take to have them ban you from a casino. But now here's something crazy. And I've mentioned this. They've got these new glasses that video, do audio, project images on your inside of your glass screen that can't be seen from the outside. You could be playing a game of cards and have an algorithm going on your smart glasses that could project down a screen onto the interior lining of your glasses that only you see. That could give you the computer algorithm for what cards it would be most likely to show up. And you could play live time and have the computer on your glasses count, basically do the same principle of card counting without card counting. So there's going to be some issues. They probably won't allow you to wear those kind of glasses in casinos, but I can see there's going to be issues. First time those glasses come out, someone smart's going to say, hey, I wonder if I can wear this to a casino. Because if there's no law against it, it's not illegal. So when they bust you, there will be no law against it. But after they bust you, they'll be like, well, we can't throw you in jail and we can't take the money back, but you're not welcome back. They'll make a law, so the first one to do it will get away with it. Probably the first couple until they make a law. Or they'll just instantly make rules, no freaking AI glasses on. And then you got to worry about if they make AI contacts. Ooh, now you can do some real cheating on cards at the casinos if you have contacts. I know I've spoke of the contact they have that gives infrared vision. Oh my God. If I ever have any money extra, I'm going to get a pair of them contacts that let you see the infrared vision, just so I can look out at night and see exactly what the fuck's out there, and then take them off and see exactly what I can't see and know that I'm still good to go because I saw every heat signature out there and I know there's no men out there with guns looking to jump me. Well, he's Silver Rugger, so I was wondering who ever picked up on that. A lot of people do. No, excuse me, not a lot. I have seen on the poker championships they show on TV and shit. World Poker Championships, I think it is. There are people that wear sunglasses, and those are supposedly the professionals because they have a TV show about them and all, and they say it's the World Professional Poker Tour, so they're supposed to be professionals, and they actually wear glasses. But I agree with you. Yes, deja vu. And that's why they change cards all the time and use 2 decks instead of 1. And they have lots of. I was actually trained in casino security along with hotel security, personal bodyguard security, lots of different types of security. I was trained in a lot of types of security before I went in the military. No, after I got out of the military, before I went to the war. It was like a 4-year differential. Las Vegas is going to become more dead for basically water issues. Actually, now's a real good time to go there because once they start, it's going to be just like the 50s. You get a steak and lobster for $9, $8, $7. They did that to attract people because no one went to Vegas. So they're going to have to start doing that again and give out the cheap rooms and get people interested in Vegas again which is a whole psychological scenario. It'll take them years to develop that psychology. And that's, again, which they're going to have to do if they want to keep Vegas alive, or Vegas will become a ghost town. And right now, you are correct. Past couple of videos I've seen of people in Vegas from when I was there 3.25 years ago, Vegas was packed. And from what I'm seeing on videos today, and same with New Orleans, a lot of cities seem to be freaking empty. But Vegas, most specifically, and that has to do with the water issue. And actually, I've done a video on the water issue. The Rio Grande River has got, I think, 6 states claiming water out of it before it hits Mexico and the Pacific, or whichever way it goes. I believe it's the Pacific. And it's a trickle by the time it gets down past California and New Mexico, because so many states have taken that water from that river. So they are looking. I am 35 miles away from San Francisco, deja vu's. I'm in Vallejo, North Bay. You go over the Bay Bridge, stay on 80, go up about 25 miles. You hit Carquinez Bridge right past Pinole. And as you go over the bridge, you enter into Vallejo. If you take the first exit, follow it down 1, 2, third light, make a right. First stop sign, make a left. You go through light, hit the stop sign, make a left. My house is on the right. If you know San Francisco and Vallejo, I just told you how to get to my house.
Right. So all your stalkers are putting down the timestamp on that one.
Boy, howdy. Actually, there's a lady in England. I was talking on someone's live stream I was on. Might have been mine. I don't even remember. I got her email. She said for me to email her so I can get her, so she can get my address, because she wants to send me money to help me pay for the cat food and cat expense, which if she actually does, I'd be very grateful. But I need to contact her about that.
You got to set up a Cash App, Venmo, PayPal.
You know, the thing about that, I got to have someone show me how to do that, and I don't have anybody. So good luck at that one, right?
Get your name.
I don't know how to do it. I'm computer stupid. I have to have people show me. Once you show me, I can figure it out, but I don't have no one to show me, because if I was like working full time like I used to, I'd be hanging around a lot of other iron workers and their girlfriends and wives to be able to help me. But over the past 4 years, I haven't worked but maybe 5 weeks a year. So I haven't had the exposure to other iron workers and their cliques to be able to keep contact, because the other guys that I hung out with after this long, they've already got out and done something else and not even doing iron work anymore. So I lost a lot of my support group by the economy.
Well, it's a nice way to make a little bit of extra cash. I've never set up Cash App or Venmo either, but I did get PayPal.
If I could talk to my neighbor one day, maybe to help me figure out how to set it up. I think I have a PayPal account, but I don't know how to like put it. There's a lot I don't know, so I'd have to set it up proper, and I don't know how to do that, so I'd have to get someone to show me. So yeah, no, it would be. I'm sure a lot of people would donate to it, because I've had people mention that.
And it's not rocket science either. In fact, there's what do you call it, tutorials.
Yeah, I'm bad with that.
Bad, okay.
I learned by watching people do it in front of me, not click back to that, click back to this. That fucks with my learning process. Like it puts too many pauses in between learning, and that like it makes it hard.
It's like a choose your own adventure book.
I don't know. If the guy next door comes down, sits down, and does all this click, I'm like, okay, I can remember that. On a tutorial, I got to watch a little bit of it, go to the next tab that I'm actually on, do a little bit, and then okay, what now? Now I got to go back and click on it, watch it a little bit more. You know, it's not the way I learn, not the best way. I mean, if my life depended on it, fuck yeah, I'd do that, no problem. But I know that's not how I learn the best, and it would be frustrating as freaking hell. And I would say, you know what? Why am I doing this for fucking $20? It's not fucking worth it. And I wouldn't do it. You know, I'd get a negative attitude. So I try to stay away from pathways that I feel will lead me to the negative attitude.
I hear you.
And my knowledge of computers is not that good. I probably have malware on this thing. I've been hacked a few times. I've run the typical virus search shit, but I know it's basic and not the best. I don't pay for a service, so I know I don't have the best virus check. So there's a lot of things I'm concerned about on that front that I've never worried about, because I've never sent money or had people send money over the computer. You know what I'm saying? So I never worry about that security level.
Just want to see if that shows up in there.
I see the red and green. Can't really read it.
No.
5 gram pre rolls.
Yeah.
Something THC something 1 milligram or something.
Yeah. So the green is sativa, or it's labeled as sativa, and the yellow is hybrid.
Where's the indica?
There isn't any indica in this one.
That sucks.
No, it's like a tester pack.
Mm.
But it's weird. Like it comes with like a stamp on it saying that, you know, duty and taxes were paid on it with a maple leaf, and it says cannabis.
Just because you have put your video up, you have what do you call it, a beanie on your head?
Yeah, a lot of people call it a beanie.
See the weather difference? Move south. Move south.
It's not too bad here.
I got my window open too.
I've actually got it up to 62 degrees in here, Fahrenheit.
Let's stir that picture up. Those were good days.
About 62.
I might actually be getting another one. Not small ones like that. They'll be big ones, and I won't be going up them because I'm too fucking old to fucking push 300-foot steps or ladder. Because if you ever had to go up a 300-foot ladder 2 or 3 times a day, it sucks.
Hey man, that's gonna help your cardio and
boy, howdy.
your strength.
Your grip strength gets good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does lots of wonders for your health. Makes you tired as fucking sore too.
Oh yeah, you feel it at the end of the day.
Oh my God. You sleep well, you wake up sore. I'm getting too old to feel that. All I need is probably like 8 weeks work, and I can get a loan through Travis, probably a VA loan, first time home buyer. Or I'll even, if my gym company takes off, I'll get my gym company to get the loan, to get the house, so I can move to Alabama, get things rolling.
I always like the idea of owning a triplex, and
I don't
live in the one unit.
No way in hell. I'm looking forward to not having anyone live right beside me. I want to be able to put my dog out if I want a dog, and it be able to run before it hits a fence line.
Well, that's even better.
Yeah. Actually, I saw a house I liked, and I got an overview picture of it, and I noticed it had a fence in the front yard and the backyard, and I was like, well, that's interesting, because if I had like cat doors, I can control the dog's movement and keep him out front and let him come in by having just a dog door in the front and having cat doors in the back to where the cats could go out in and out the back all they wanted, and the dog could follow, and I could like keep them separated if they got a little too crazy.
Yeah. Just a freaking pre-roll.
Yeah, I purchased one. Yep.
It's for the lazy people.
I like the prototype.
Yeah, you can drop it and it won't break too, right?
Man, I am so pissed every fucking time I bought a sweet ass glass pipe and got bumble fingers and heard it hit the ground and break. And I'm like, Prell, there's another 20, 30, 40 bucks down the drain. And you don't want to smoke the weed that was in the bowl because there's glass shavings in it. And you're like, I'll just throw the whole fucking thing away. So yeah, prototype's the best one. Now, when I do get my own house, I will have a room because there is a what's known as a steamroller. Do you know what a steamroller is?
No.
It's a bigger, like 1.5 foot long, 3 or 4 inch diameter glass pipe that has the bowl on one end, and your partner usually, or you could even, your partner would light it. You'd stick your hand on the end of it, fill up that whole section, and then like remove your hand, and it like bazookas straight to your face. And you
Oh,
get
nice, like a shotgun.
oh, big time. But now there's creative glass blowers, and I used to have one, but it broke because it was freaking glass.
I had one too.
It
Like
was
a glass pipe.
it had a dragon on the inside, where the dragon's tail was the actual bowl furthest away from the area where your mouth was, and then it had the form of the dragon, and the dragon's face was pointing to you, to where when you lit it, the dragon's body filled up with smoke, and then when you released your hand, the dragon blew the smoke at your face. And I thought that was just a real badass artistic design for a steamroller. Cost several $100s back in the day, but I'd like to get another one day because it really made it look like if someone was watching you smoke that, and they saw the smoke come out, they'd be like, "Damn, that dragon's blowing smoke in that guy's face," because that's exactly what it looked like.
Right on.
What are you guys talking about there? Oh, you're telling Deja Vu where you're at?
Yeah, Deja Vu said, "So Jam, where in Canada are you?" I avoid Toronto as much as possible, but I'm about an hour away. I just say near Toronto because it kind of nails close enough.
The only time I go into San Francisco is when I'm getting paid to build a building in San Francisco. Otherwise, I don't go to San Francisco.
Yeah, I don't like big towns. So like I'm with you on getting acreage for sure.
Yeah. The only time I'm in Oakland is if I'm getting paid to build a building in Oakland. Otherwise, I'm not in Oakland. That's just how it works.
Well, and that's the way it used to be, right? Like a huge part of the American economy was farming off the bat, right? And
it's called greed. And what happened is some rich guy convinced some politician that it was better for him to take 100,000 cows and put them on government land and call it his ranch than every other house being a farm or having some, because the problems we're having now with the cows and stuff like that is if you think about it, and I saw a program, watched a documentary on a new style of cleaning up or a new style of barn that's like uses water to clean itself and all this other shit. And I'm like, and my same thought comes back to me. It was never intended to have a farm where you have 10,000 or 1,000 or 500 cows in one barn doing one thing, leaving all the feces all in one place.
Oh, it's horrible.
That is a creative scenario, and it creates a lot of health issues.
Oh yeah,
that is a man-created scenario. The way it's supposed to be is there's supposed to be several small local farmers, each of them having maybe 50, maybe 100 cows, and you have 4 or 5 of them, and there's a little competition locally for the meat sales and stuff like that. And it all went to, and it's not just for cows, it's for everything. It all went to 1, 2, or 3 companies for the whole nation control that animal's as a product for a food source. So they do things from an economic perspective, which leads to cruelties, inhumanities, and abuses and disgust, because they do things from a business, a
mass produced,
a mass production perspective rather than a healthy. See, because farmers back, my papa, one time I remember as a kid, who was like 3, he lived in he had a house across from a dairy farm. People cared for their animals.
Oh yeah. They were family.
And now you go to this mono farms with tens of thousands or thousands or 500 cows. They don't really care for them. They're a commodity. They're an asset, and they just only want to keep it healthy and let it do its thing and then do its thing. And they want to do it as cheaply as possible with as less time put into it as whatever. It's a business. It's not a lifestyle. And farming needs to be a lifestyle. And once the lifestyle, more people are into it. More people are happy because a lot of people want to be farmers, but they're forced to be construction workers. They're forced to be electricians. They're forced to be doctors because that's what other people told them would make them happy. But they would most likely probably be farming.
And they're forced to move into the city to do it because that's where all the demand for that is.
Exactly. And then you get depression. Now you need more drugs. Now you need pharmaceuticals.
And then the next generation forget, well, the next two generations forget that going into the city was just supposed to be temporary, right? It wasn't supposed to be forever.
Yep.
Right? You're supposed to go back to the farm.
Supposed to. And there's a lot of land out there. Yeah, local farmers would be more than happy to sell. And that's again, when I go to Alabama, I'll find a local farmer and I'll be like, or a local rancher, I'll be like, you looking for investment? I'll invest in some cattle this year. You want to buy some calves? Let's work a deal. You know, increase the number of your cows. I'll buy the calves. You increase the number of your cows, and we split a little bit of it because guaranteed fresh meat. Good wholesome.
The other problem with like the commercial mass-produced beef and cattle, dairy, like all of that is because they're in there and they have those issues. Then the veterinarians have to come in a lot more, and the next thing they're all having to.
You need pharmaceuticals, more drugs. That's the way the drug companies go.
Your audio just went really bad, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Couldn't tell what you said, though.
I said drug companies are in control of all of it because the cattle need more drugs that way.
Right. Bingo. Everyone's a customer from cradle to grave.
Along with the animals.
Yeah.
You have to medicate cows. You have to medicate your chickens. You have to medicate. What? So now we're eating drugged up food. Interesting.
You're coming through even the pet industry first. Like, so many dog owners and dogs like that I know, the dogs are on veterinary exclusive diet.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, what's wrong with the dog? Oh, well, nothing. The vet just said that, it's a better thing for them. But you can only get it through the vet. So, it's residual income for them. And they're just running their business. You can't go and get it at Costco or your grocery store or your pet store. Yeah, you can only get it from your vet. So now the vet's got you coming in more frequently too.
Yeah, making more your money. What about Tyson, girl? That's what I'm saying, Jethro. We eat drugs, and then we take drugs that doctors give us. This is all about. And you want to know why we're so fucked up? That's why I've been into holistic and natural medicines my whole life. I'll do like the what do they call them? The antibiotics and antivirals. I'll do those pills because I can legitimately see getting rid of a fever or something like that, or a real bad stomach infection. I can see that. But when I say pills, I'm talking like your heart medication you got to take every day, high blood pressure medication, high cholesterol medication, my fat pills. We don't need none of that shit. You need to eat better and walk more and climb a tree, go swimming, go hunting, go fishing, walk around the mall more. Your lifestyle change affects your health. Eating affects your health. Or you can forego all of that and take pills. And the lazy way is forego all that and take pills. And that's what most people have done. And that makes pharmaceuticals even richer. Allows them to buy more politicians. So yeah, it's healthier and more politically sound to move out in the country and eat fresh food. more politically sound. Yeah, in the long run, it actually is.
So are you good at, like, if you, like, as a survivalist, if you were dropped, into the middle of a massive national park, would you be able to,
Would I have what I naturally have on me when I walk around?
well, no, say you were able to take whatever you could carry,
Oh shit, yeah, I'd survive.
like knowing the different plants and whatnot that you can eat and all that. The reason I ask is because that sort of information is really popular too.
Yeah, I could survive. I'd probably end up having fun. It'd take a while to psychologically get used to learning through activity rather than through the computer, but I'd probably end up enjoying it. I like gardening anyhow, so doing stuff like that would be cool. It would take a little adjustment period, but I'd probably survive and thrive.
Do you mind if I plug a YouTube channel that I really like that is right on that subject?
Certainly, most certainly. If you don't mind holding me down the camp for 15 seconds.
Yep, no worries. So what I'm going to share here is Oven's Rocky Mountain Bushcraft, and he's got all sorts of different he's got 275 videos. Most of it is survivalist, and he's in British Columbia, Canada. Spent the past 30 years living among the Canadian Rocky Mountains in the Columbia Valley of British Columbia, where he enjoys testing his hunting, fishing, hiking, and bushcrafting skills. Being a drywaller by trade, combined with his passion for outdoors, it's no surprise that he prides himself. Okay. So that's it there. I'll drop the link in there. But he's got he was on one of those reality shows too. It wasn't Survivor, but it was like a survivalist thing. So like,
once you said you could take whatever you could carry,
yeah,
that did it right there. But you can carry a rifle. Okay, cool. Knife. Okay. Now you got fire. You got food. Carry a hammock and a fucking tarp. Now you got a real comfortable, sleepy spot. Have a fire up, be off ground. Man, I could see it perfect. Be like a vacation.
So he goes through traps, how to make different traps and everything too. How to start fire in like 10 different ways. So that was it for anyone that really likes that sort of thing. If you haven't checked out Oven's Rocky Mountain Bushcraft, I think you'd love it. I'll drop the link in there.
I like the and that's why I asked if it was if I could have everyday type stuff, because let me show you what type lighter I prefer, and it's for a specific reason that I prefer this type lighter, because just the fantasy of one day maybe something happening and I need to run and I only have it's this type of lighter right here, and it is. So if there was a wet piece of wood, I could hold that wet piece of wood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I could dry that whole piece of wood out and start a fire. And then to where if I had like the big style, it would probably drain the whole fucking thing just to dry that one piece of wood out. You know what I'm saying? To do the same thing, to start a fire with wet, wood, basically. So I like that type of lighter.
Oh yeah, the torch lighters are rock.
Yeah, it's a lot better, especially if you get thrown into a survival scenario. Also, this could get wet and you don't have to worry about it. Just, put it out a little bit, it'll dry off, you can reuse it. There's no flint that's going to get wet or anything like that.
Yeah, your Bics are like your bronze for a Bic lighter.
Mm-hmm.
then your Zippos are silver, and those torch lighters are gold.
Yeah, they're the
Something like that, anyway.
survival lighter of lighters, and the gas lasts longer in them than a Bic. Also,
So that link that I dropped there for Ovens Rocky Mountain Bushcraft is one channel that I binge watched it for probably a month when he got his new puppy. He takes the puppy out in the bush with him everywhere. I think he's actually probably about 2 years old now. But
right on.
yeah, really, really, really cool channel. And that sort of video is popular too. Like, I stopped sharing the screen, but he's got like 1 million subscribers. Most popular video got 18 million views.
Yeah, I don't like. I don't know. I don't watch that kind of stuff. I know about it. I don't. I don't want to be in that scenario. In reality, I'd rather not catch myself in a scenario where I'd have to use those kinds of skills.
Right?
I'd rather be in a soft bed with a heater and a fireplace and a refrigerator, comfortable blanket, hot shower and bath. But yeah, no, I could survive out there. But again, you got to change your mindset to make it fun. But I don't want to have to do that shit.
Silver Rigger says, I think he was on the second season of Alone. Okay, that could be it. I think he might have actually been on a couple of them. A couple of the reality shows. But they were all survival based.
See, if you talk to a Scottish Highlander, survival is nothing, especially by ourselves. That's the Scottish Highlander life. You in a small unit, and that's it. Nothing forever. Unless it comes to try and kill you. In which case, you got to kill it. And then there's nothing for forever again.
That does sound pretty lonely.
Well, if you look at the Scottish history, the Highlands, everyone stayed away from the Highlands. It wasn't a good living spot. A lot of wind and all this other shit. I mean, it was a good life if you got into that type of thing. But most of the clans stayed away from that because of the lifestyle. So it was a very isolated area. That's part of the reason why the people in the Highlands have the reputation they have, because it made a tougher person as well.
Did you say because of the wind?
That's part of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you get the wind blowing off the North Sea over the hills of the Highlands.
Mm-hmm.
You're always going to have rosy cheeks, and it's going to. Well, I'll tell you this way: both my grandparents lived to the late 90s. It seems to make you live longer. That cold wind breeze of sea air type thing.
Well, when it's windy and you're going into the wind, it's almost like you're being turbocharged, right? You're getting that injection of oxygen.
That might, again, I don't know. I do know of the history of both sides, my father's side and my mom's side. Fucking Sutherlands lived to the 90s, bro. My mom is actually the first one that didn't live to her 90s, and she got the COVID shot thingy and died of heart issues. Had that not happened, she'd probably lived to her 90s as well. Her sister's like in her late 80s. She'll easily live way into her 90s.
Nice.
So I got the genes to live the 90s. With all the smoking and shit, I should live till the early 80s anyhow. Although sometimes you wonder why the hell someone would want to live that long.
Well, if it weren't for like the physical and mechanical aging, and the mental aging, if you could stay relatively young, much longer, and the aging process was slower than, I think most people, well, many people wouldn't mind living hundreds of years.
Well, it's all in how you take care of yourself, though. I mean, if you quit stretching at age 30 or 40, and then by age 50 or 60, you wonder why you got a fat gut and you can't touch your toes. Well, hell, it's because you've not been exercising for 20 years. I mean, never quit exercising and stretching, no matter how old you are, and you'll probably maintain more of a youthfulness than
Neil's talking about me right now, guys.
I mentioned no names. I mentioned no names whatsoever. I had no one intended in saying that. I'm just saying that is what you would, again, maintain a more youthful look if you did that stuff, because the body is designed for that type stuff. We came from a what do you call it? A persistence hunting, pack hunting.
And lots of walking, lots of physical exercise. I know I gotta hit the gym.
No, you just gotta change. Yeah, every what do you call it? Your internal body stuff. What's it called? I'm stoned as hell right now. Everyone's body simulates things differently and reacts differently to different shit, do your own different chemical composition. What you need to do is you need to find out your own personal chemical composition, and you will find out that the foods you are eating is what's causing you to be fat or thin, along with whatever your chemical body makeup is. And it's
everyone's different.
Everybody. Mine runs fast and hot, so I can eat till the cows come home and I'll never gain weight. But that's just how my individual body system runs. Other people's runs differently. So if you spend the time to discover more about your body, you'll discover how to change things through your actions to where your body turns out to be what you want it to be, basically. Anatomy, yeah, that's the word. Anatomy. Thank you. Everyone's is different. For example, you could have a mother and a daughter, daughter's in her 20s, mother's in her 40s. The mother's thin as hell, the daughter's fat, but the daughter eats the same thing the mother does. Why is the daughter way more than the mother? If they eat the same thing, pretty much do the same thing. There is a chemical thing going on in the body, and they've discovered in the past couple of years that there's a bacteria in the stomach or in the gut area of the body that creates a bacteria that determines if you're fat or thin. Some people have that bacteria, some people don't. The ones that don't end up gaining a lot of weight. The ones that do have that. So it has nothing actually really to do with you individually. It only matters if you have that one in particular bacteria. So what you're doing could be useless. It could be as simple as just going to the doctor and say, hey, can you inject that type of bacteria in my gut and see if it works, and talk to him about it? And he says, yeah, and it happens, and you lose the weight. You still eat the same, do the same things, do everything. And you'll be like me at that point in time. You can eat a whole fucking chocolate cake and not gain a pound, just because you have that gut bacteria that causes that reaction to ingested foods.
So now, when you eat a full chocolate cake like that, especially at night, do you not feel like crap the next day though?
No.
You metabolize it, no problem. It's like, yeah, next.
One thing I've discovered here lately, as I'm getting more towards 60, if I drink tea closer to my bedtime, I will probably wake up like 4 a.m. and have to go to the bathroom. But that's just because I drank a whole cup of tea right before I went to bed. So I try not to drink right before I go to bed so I don't experience that. But I have noticed that as I get older. And it's easily adjustable by not drinking before I go to bed.
Okay. I've been trying to avoid sugar and like stuff like chocolate cake as much as obviously just like anyone else at
love. And that's the typical thought process of what gains weight and what doesn't. But is the true question, or is it sold to you as that so that someone can make money off of that thought process and give you a pill that's based off of that thought process?
Well, the next day I don't feel good.
That's because you're probably haven't got that balance that you need for your in particular body system. And that's why you need to discover what that balance is. And once you do, you shouldn't feel like that.
So everyone should be able to eat a full chocolate cake and
So
feel
they should be able to self-adjust. Well, some people might be like have a medical issue where they can't ingest that kind of sugar because their anatomy won't allow it. So you can't say everybody, but everyone needs to figure out what their own personal body chemistry is, and why it, and what they can do to adjust it to be a way that they want to feel. Because if you know, and take that just bit of responsibility of self-knowledge of self and what you ingest to make you feel the best the next day. If eating a full chocolate cake makes you feel shit the next day, then do that. For me, it doesn't. So not that I do that a lot. I've only done it like maybe 3 or 4 times in my whole lifetime, but you know, I can. But that's my body style. It's not yours. Yours is particular to you. That's why I say you should figure out your body style, because it's a lot easier for you to do that for you than it is for me to do that for you, because I don't know your body style. I don't know, you know, what your chemical reactions are to different foods that you would know because you've been in your body your whole life. I haven't. So it's easier for the individual to determine. And also things you don't even tell your doctor. You don't tell your doctor, oh, yeah, that gave me a slight upset stomach when I took that shit. Because you don't want to fucking, you know, drag on he gets paid by the hour. So you don't want to fucking get charged more or whatever the excuse is for not mentioning everything to the doctor that you feel, just enough to get what you need done.
Yeah. I usually feel pretty good. It's just, stuff that's high in sugar. I got to watch out for that.
Right on. Again, I'm opposite of a diabetic. I need either sugar or
Give me the sugar.
or protein. And, you know, so that means more expensive stuff than sugar, like, you know, steak and meat. And that's actually economically, that's the harder of the two choices to go with, even though it's the healthier one.
By far. Yeah.
You know, so, you know, my health is determined by economics now. That's just life.
Yep, it's true.
So you learn your body and you deal with things the best you can for your body type, and don't compare yourself to others because they don't have your body type.
Drinking tea all the time is a really good idea too, I think.
Honey and cinnamon. That's why I have no high blood pressure or high cholesterol, the bad high cholesterol. I have a high good cholesterol and a low bad cholesterol, and slightly elevated actually high cholesterol or bad. The bad cholesterol is elevated. It's not to where they need to give me pills, but it was shortly thereafter that they changed the number for what's good to have and what's not good to have. That I went from having okay bad cholesterol numbers to borderline not good. So it wasn't my health that changed, it was their numbers that changed. And I think they more did that for financial gain for themselves rather than for the health of the patient. But I still have no high blood pressure and no high bad cholesterol. And it's because of honey and cinnamon, because the combination of those, you Google it, you find out some of the best shit for your high blood pressure and bad cholesterol. And that helps the rest of your health too, because a lot of diseases come from those things being out of whack and being on the bad side on both.
Yep.
From, you know, heart disease to all kinds of shit. So if you keep that stabilized to start with, you should be pretty good health-wise.
Mm-hmm.
It's, again, holistic medicine, natural medicine. What you stick in your mouth depends on how you live your life. Not everyone. I don't eat. I mean, I eat processed foods too. I still eat fucking shit. You know, pizza you get from the store to heat up and all this other crap, processed stuff. But I do try to do what I can. But I feel that if I move out into a more country environment where I can have fruit trees and nut trees and berry bushes and shit like that and grow, you know, maybe a 1/4 acre of my own shit. Like when I did my own watermelon, I enjoyed the hell out of that. And it was hard as fuck. It took most of the backyard up, but I mean, if I had more land, it'd be easier. So I think I'd actually eat better if I had more land. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not that I would totally eat healthy, but I would definitely grow a lot of my own shit that I don't do now.
And you don't even need a lot of land for that. Like even 1 acre, you can grow a lot of stuff.
1 acre is more than enough. Huh?
Yeah.
You can grow like 6 different types of fruit and nut trees on 1 acre, plus have enough for berry bushes and stuff like that, and probably, you know, 50 by 100 foot long row of crops, which is more than enough to subsidize, not totally take care of, but subsidize your food budget.
Yep.
You know, instead of buying corn.
And you grow surplus so you can, sell or barter with, with your surplus too, right?
Yeah, go to the farmer's market, see what you can do there first. But yeah, you could, instead of buying corn on the cob, if you grew your own, instead of having store-bought watermelon, you could grow your own. Instead of store-bought cucumbers, you could have your own. Store-bought broccoli, you could have your own. Store-bought lettuce. Well, hell, grow romaine lettuce. It's actually healthy for you.
You can grow your own beets, your own garlic, your own potatoes.
Yep.
Corn.
Supplement stuff. Not stuff that would totally make a meal, but a healthy, homegrown base to each meal that you have is better than each meal being a total processed food meal. And your health would greatly increase if you had a one healthy something or other with every meal rather than it all being processed food.
Yeah. Like that's typically what I do is I typically have one meal that's not particularly healthy and then another one that is pretty healthy.
Yeah, and that's another way to do it. I like trying every meal having something because come on, let's just get real. Most of the processed food tastes fucking good. That's what they made it for.
I cut out ketchup though. Like you won't see me put ketchup on anything.
Too much sugar in it for you.
Yeah, same thing. I just know it's horrible. So, like I put more mustard on.
Oh, I love it
because I know mustard's actually not bad for you.
And fresh crushed garlic is actually the best way to eat garlic for health benefits. Right off the top of my head, I can't think of what the health benefits are, but they're significant. And
I think there's blood pressure and kidney benefits.
Kidney is what it was. The blood pressure I was not concerned about because I already do other shit for that.
But garlic has many health benefits, I believe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, garlic bread pizza.
You say mushrooms.
That's one thing I don't do a lot of. Although I am going to get into a business of mushrooms, growing mushrooms, making money off of growing mushrooms, for the simple fact, actually, of what we're talking about, having fresh food. If you look at Alaska and how much it costs you, I think a watermelon costs like $30 or $40.
Yeah.
It costs to transport it up there fresh. So it's rather costly. Not every vegetable can be done this way, but mushrooms definitely can, and they're profitable. So you get a container and you set it up properly, you can grow like 700 pounds of mushrooms every 2 weeks. Now, if you were up in Alaska and you had 700 pounds of fresh mushrooms year round, you wouldn't have to charge their top dollar to make one hell of a profit and them still save money. Because their food's already so expensive. You could charge half price and still make one hell of a profit just selling fucking mushrooms in Alaska. If you had a container close by the grocery store you could deal with for buying the fresh and selling the fresh mushrooms in their supermarket.
And Jeffro was saying beets are a superfood too, and that's true. Beets are really good.
Very good for your heart, brother. They are very, 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 very. If you have heart issues, start eating beets. Fresh ones. Don't try and get them from store. I mean, store-bought is better than not eating them, but ultimately,
when you are cleaning your beets, if you see like a black circle or something, cut that whole thing out or discard it. Don't buy that one. Those little black things, is it going bad? It's like a scab on it.
Oh, okay. That's good info.
It's black. Yeah, your beets should be dark purple, and they shouldn't have any like scab looking black circles on them. If they do, just ignore. Don't use those or cut that out. But it'll be like a freaking wart and it grows right into it.
Definitely good to know.
Yeah. It's interesting. I was thinking of beets earlier too.
I actually had beets this Thanksgiving because I found out the actual benefit of them to your heart. And when the neighbor brought over a plate for me, there was beets on it. And for the first time in my life, I actually ate them.
Yeah.
I mean, they were okay. I don't like beets really, but because they're good for you, I ate them.
Some people pickle them, so they'll have like pickled beet salad. They'll have them cold.
That's so you had any kind of fucking salad dressing, you just ruined the purpose of the salad. It kind of sucks. I like blue cheese salad dressing, but fuck, it screws up the fucking healthiness of the salad.
Yeah, Caesar salad would be my favorite.
You know, one thing to do with salads is take a big bowl and take all your green leafy shit,
Yeah.
fill a bowl with really very hot water, add like 2 tablespoons, maybe 3 tablespoons of honey to the hot water, and swirl it around. Maybe 4 tablespoons for a big bowl of water, and run all your green leafy shit through that bowl of water that the honey's in, and then make your individual salad dishes from that green leafy shit that just came out of the honey water. And then no matter what fucking kind of salad it is, it's gonna be sweet and good.
Great idea. Oh, and Jeffro says slice beets into chips.
Oh, you mean like
Cook in your oven.
dehydrate them?
Cook them in your oven.
Yeah, you want to do, I think, like, was it 135 or something like that for several hours to dehydrate in the oven. I don't recall the exact numbers. There's a certain formula for dehydrating shit. I like doing that. When I had dogs, I did that with sweet potato. You take sweet potato, cut it about an 1/8 inch thick, and stick it in the oven for quite some time. Let it like dehydrate to chewy. It's the same as a good chewy bone for your dogs, but it's healthy for them.
Yeah.
It's sweet potato. So basically, dehydrated thin slices of sweet potato, same thing. I actually ate them too, so I don't know.
Hey, sweet potato is great.
You sure that's not from getting hit in the kidneys too much, Silver?
No, beet juice, it'll make anything that comes out of you is gonna. So you like, if you fall or you're in a car accident or something like that, and you eat beets, you know.
That the hospital say, Doc, I got kidney problems. Doc says, "Well, did you?"
I think I might have internal bleeding or something.
I think funny hospital story. I was actually just being an eye worker. I had a kidney stone. Fucking really got fucked up at work. Had to get the BA come take me to the hospital. And they were trying to draw blood from me. There's 2 Orientals trying to draw blood from me. And I could tell they were like, I was like half out of it. I was like fucking in dazed. Half out of it land. But I could tell they tried like 6 or 7 times to get the fucking vein on my left arm. And I saw this doctor walk by. And I opened my eyes, looked at him, and I looked down at these two and looked at him and said, Doc, you want to come save me from being a pincushion? Right in front of these 2 philanthropists that couldn't hit a vein to save their life. Doc came in and hit the vein right at the bat.
Yeah, they send the volunteers in to give you your freaking.
No, what they did, where they probably says, "Oh, there's a white guy. Let's practice on him. He's half fucking out of it anyhow."
Right.
But man, they woke me up, pissed me off. I was like, God damn, you want me to fucking do it? You fucking son of a bitches. They put me on some pain medication because my whole stomach area like inflamed like 3 or 4 inches. I couldn't even close my pants with my zipper up. The zipper had to be down for me to keep my pants on because my insides swelled up so much for a short period of time. As they determined it was a kidney stone. They couldn't actually find anything, but they all saw it happen. Which is another reason why I don't trust doctors.
We were talking about going to the doctors earlier. I was going to say, like, I don't go to the doctor unless.
Oh, it was a workman's comp thing.
Unless there's something wrong.
I was on the job site. They kind of forced it.
Right.
It was a workman's comp. They're like, nah, you're just on the job. We're gonna make sure you're healthy before you fucking, you're going to the hospital. I'm like, all right, but I can't fucking drive. And then I got out of the car, and boom, I fucking passed out. Next thing I know, woke up, the VA was knocking on my window. He's like, Neo, you need me to drive you to the hospital? I was like, fuck, I can't drive. Fell out of my car, he picked me up, put me in his car, and took me to the hospital. I'd have been okay, though, after a couple hours. The only thing the hospital did is they ran me through an MRI, found nothing, gave me some pain medication, and took blood from me and charged us a lot of money and said, we don't know what the fuck's wrong with him. We think he might have passed a kidney stone.
Weird.
Like $5,000. And again, all they did was give me a fucking pain medication that actually was effective during the whole time I was at the hospital. Everything else was non-conclusive, and all the tests run were non-conclusive, so no reason to run the fucking test. I could have done just as good staying in the car. Saved several $1,000s.
Right. Yeah. Same thing with the dentist. I try to avoid the dentist, the doctor.
Well, people overdo shit and then they overcharge, dude. And then again, you got to look at regulations. Here in America, it is illegal to cure certain things. But if you go down to Mexico, it's totally legal to cure those kind of things.
That's whacked. That's really whacked.
Yeah, I got a buddy down the road. His dog had a cancer, and they didn't want to operate out here. Said it was too far gone. He's like, "Hey, what's up, deplorable?"
Hey, deplorable.
He took him down to his mother's place down in Mexico. Had a fucking vet work out him for like 1/10 the price. Did the surgery, came back. Fuck, the dog's still alive, man. But he didn't get the surgery done here. They wouldn't do the surgery here in America on a fucking dog at that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely things. There's institutions that have actually cured people of things that you're not allowed to get cured of, that were forced out of America in the 40s, that are located in Mexico. And I can't talk about them because I will get a strike if I talk about that. But yeah, it's illegal to do things in America where it's legal to have it done in other countries. Of course, it costs money.
Yeah.
So a lot of people here in America can't afford it. But if you can afford it, look to other countries. You go to Europe. What was it? In Italy. Who was it? Last time I talked to someone had some dental work done in Italy. Oh, it was James. He was in Italy. He needed a cap put on or something like that. $27 fucking dollars. No insurance. $27. It was done. You can't get that shit done in America, man. That costs a couple $100s. Over in Italy, the doctors, the dentist himself, in and out within an hour, $27.
Right. It's different philosophy, right? Some jurisdictions, the philosophy is the healthier your client base or your patient base, your customer base is, the more successful you are. Right.
I had Pete.
Hey, Pete.
Merry Christmas to Deplorable and Pete. Now, Big Pharma runs America, man. They run everything. They run Congress. They run a lot of shit. They want us all on drugs. They put drugs in our animals that in the animals we eat. They put drugs in to get the drugs into us. They want us all on drugs, and then they want to throw us in jail for being on drugs. How fucked up is that?
Yeah.
We're going to get you hooked on drugs and then throw you in jail for hooking you on drugs. They must make lots of money on throwing us in jail, huh? That's what was it, Geotech? That's the only way they make money is by having people thrown in jail. That stock's doing very well right now.
As predicted, right?
Oh, I predicted that. Yes, sir. That was very foreseeable. There's a lot of things. It's not that I see the future, man. Things are guaranteed to happen no matter who's in office.
Yeah.
Certain-
No, that's one of those things that I personally wouldn't invest in, even though kind of like casinos, you pretty much know it's a sure thing, other than some anomalies from time to time.
Yeah, there's definitely certain things I won't invest in for sure. I don't even look at the asset class.
Right.
That's a self thing. Everyone makes a determination for themselves on that type of thing.
Yep. Where do you draw the line?
Exactly. That's probably why I'm still poor. I have morals.
Yep. And Deplorable says they're supposed to be deporting them, not concentrating them.
There's a lot of things that are going on right now. So many things. One most important thing that will affect us all financially is the rebuilding of the American Navy and our secondary merchant marine fleet. That is going to bring in so much fucking work and money, along with everything else coming up. It's going to be freaking awesome. Yes, most definitely. Most definitely. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end it too. We're coming up on hour 4. I know it's what, midnight, 12:30 over there.
Yep. Merry Christmas, Neil, Jeffro, Deplorable, Pete Repeat, Silver Ruger. Gerald was in here earlier. Who else did I miss? Everyone else. Merry Christmas.
I'm just gonna say Merry Christmas, Pete and Repeat. I'm gonna say Merry Christmas to everyone. Have a great day tomorrow. Make solid investments. Follow the money that's flowing into America. Put your money where it's going. You'll probably do good. And watch JM's show. He's got a good show. With that said, peace out.
See you guys. Have a good night, Neil.
You too, brother.